Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this episode. Make sure you check out factsnotincluded.com/forum/movies and click on the Endgame talk so we could discuss spoilers and all things Avengers Endgame. I want to hear what you thought of the movie. We could talk about anything on there. The forum's going to be open forever, so we could always talk about it at any time. I really just want to hear what you guys have to say about Avengers Endgame. Let's have a discussion on factsnotincluded.com. Enjoy the show.
Bags of milk.
That sounds incredibly just unproductive. If I don't know,
It works. It's just very jarring.
So it's like a heavy canvas bag. I know if it was like something lighter, it would just pop and that's it. The milk will just
Well,
store.
you
out.
then put it
It's
in
like-
a plastic jug, which then doesn't make any sense. But that jug is reusable, so... Oh, Canadians.
Or you get like my family. We have like those plastic pouring things, but you just cut it open up of the bag.
Yeah.
You cut it like a little slice open, and you just pour it.
Interesting.
I wonder
bag
how
and
much
stuff.
plastic you're actually saving, in comparison, if you just used the... I don't know. Well, anyway... What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Facts Not Included, the podcast. We're here today to talk about possibly the craziest comic book movie ever made. Spoilers ahead. Full disclosure. Just letting you know right now, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, you're pretty dumb for listening to this. Again, only if you haven't seen the movie. You're totally the smartest person in the world if you have, because we're going to go heavy into this. We're here to talk about Avengers Endgame. I'm your host with the other two hosts. I'm Peter, and I'm joined by, of course, Mr. Michael and Antonio. What's up, guys?
What's going on, Peter? How are you?
Pretty
Hola,
good, bro.
¿cómo estás?
Wow. Cultural appropriation.
What?
So...
To share, like you said a few weeks back, to shout out all our Spanish fans.
Right.
You gotta.
That is very true. That is very
You
true.
got, man, you gotta.
I don't know.
Plus, Peter over here is of the Spanish blood, so fair
Well, yeah.
enough.
I mean,
Mike, I'm very
Yeah,
nervous about where you're going with that. Anyway.
out of the three of us, you're more.
This is
And
true.
fine,
I
too.
I am Spanish, and I could connect my roots to Spain, which is possibly why or how
Really?
they found me. There's a lot of people with my last name in Spain that I don't know if they're directly related to me or not, and I who knows. But anyway, we're here to talk Avengers Endgame, and I'm pretty hyped to talk about this. I'm sure you guys are as well. My thoughts on it. Wow, it's just wow. I don't know about you. Do you guys feel the same
Okay,
after
so,
you left
yeah.
the movie?
So your immediate thoughts after leaving that movie is, wow, right?
I guess. I mean, I sat there sulking in my emotions. It's one of those things where I think I felt that way with... this is a weird comparison because a lot of people's view and a view on this movie is iffy. I felt the same with The Last Jedi in the sense of there's a lot going on here. Let me sit down in this seat and register all that's going through my mind. Again, maybe for some people it's that same feeling, but in a maybe more positive light. I have no idea. But in comparison, the last movie that I felt like this, of confusion and love and all that stuff mixed in, was The Last Jedi. I don't know about you guys. Were you because okay, when we saw people leaving the movie before we went in, there was no
Right.
clear face of joy and excitement because the way that movie ended. It's just like, oh, this is everyone's retirement, or this is everyone's swan song type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was very mellow ending, but so satisfying. How did you feel when the movie ended?
Definitely for me, this movie is like when it was finished and it's the credits when the credits were done rolling. It's like one of those movies where it's like kind of related to like a hangover, so to speak. It's like you're kind of it doesn't really hit you delayed after the fact. Especially like when I saw this movie, like when I woke up this morning, it kind of like hit me. It's like an emptiness feeling, seeing as kind of this is the conclusion of 10 years story in the making. So it kind of was just like, oh well, damn. Like I remember seeing the first Iron Man when I was a kid, so it's like we've gone from there to this in that whole span of period of time, and it's just like, wow, like that's it. That's like it's almost like an empty feeling, like you're missing something, but like in a sad way.
I felt like because I saw this movie twice, once with you guys and once with my friend Chris. And the first time when I came out of that theater, I was kind of like speechless. I was kind of like with Peter, I was just like, okay, you start like the rush of it starts going through your head. Okay, where do we go from now? Like who will essentially, like, since all these characters are essentially retiring, right? Like
the arcs have finished more or less. Their character arcs are all.
Where do we go from now? Like that's my immediate question after digesting everything.
I felt the same way this morning. I was like, what's next for the MCU? Like where do you take this from here? Because there's no loose ends. There's no loose ends left to wrap,
There's also a lot of questions too, because this film franchise is now taking place in the future. 2023. We're 5 years out from that. So
that's true.
The question is the next Marvel movie in 2023 after Spider-Man? Do they go on this somewhat hiatus of films and wait and hold it out for a bit and do all the TV show stuff? And then at some point in 22 or 23, do we get a new movie going forward from there? Because
so you're saying they're going to do a hiatus of movies? That's your theory anyway.
Well, I only say that. I'm not saying it's like concrete what I think, but I only say that because think about it. All their movies that they've come out with, the time period that we see them in is the time period it's set in. So Infinity War happened in 2018, basically more or less 2018, 2019. And so then 5 years later would be 2023, because it's 2018 to 2023 is 5 years. So what does that leave me to think? Well, that the next movie will come out in that time. Whether or not that happens, I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, because it gives us this hope. It gives us this feeling of anticipation come 2022, come 23. Oh my God, we're getting another MCU movie. With Disney Plus, you have the ability to do TV shows and keep that excitement going without having movies out. And also, this movie leaves plenty of opening. It also answers a lot of questions as to why certain people have TV shows now.
Yes.
Why Loki has a show now? Well, because he has the Tesseract in some other timeline now. So
that explains that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you do a TV show not about that. You must now. It also leaves the question as to how Falcon and Bucky are gonna have a connection even more so now. Well, because they just saw their buddy go.
Like one's a best friend and the other one's like essentially his mentor.
Right.
So now like a father figure.
This movie lays the groundwork for that. What I want to get into, and listen, you know me, I will admit when I'm wrong. I think I try to do that. I was wrong about the trailer. I was wrong wholeheartedly about everything I thought that was going to happen, or that at least I thought they were showing me. I knew they were pulling our leg a bit with a lot of stuff, but I was making the wrong conclusions on other things. I'll let you guys talk about it, but really quickly, in the trailer, I thought everything they were showing us was happening around the same time, and that there wasn't a time jump going to be in the movie. I thought the jump would have already started the movie.
Yeah, same. I thought, honestly, 5 years had already passed, like when we first see this scene of the ship being stranded in space, because from the trailer, they show like Statue of Liberty. The city's like pretty much like a ghost town, and they do show that, but not until after the title card shows the time skip. So I originally thought that Iron Man was stranded in space for like 5 years, literally just floating adrift.
Exactly, and I thought the scene where they show Captain Marvel being introduced and she's like, "Let's go get him," I thought that was something that happened later on, and they've been all this time. I didn't guess how long it would. I don't think I would have guessed 5 years, but I thought that was like a few weeks or months. Well, not weeks. Sorry, I thought it was a few years later, and them trying to figure out everything we've done doesn't work. What the hell? Where is this man, or whatever? But it's clearly just 20-something days later, and they go right after him. Did you guys? I mean, Mike, you just kind of answered that, but Antonio, did you get a lot of the trailer wrong?
The first trailer, the one where it's whatever it takes, right? That trailer? Are we talking about?
Well, I'm talking about both, but I think the whatever it takes one's the second one.
Right. Because that's the one I mostly remember. The first the teaser, right, was the one where he's talking to Hey Miss Potts. That one, right?
Yes, that is the first one. Yeah, the second one is where they show the flashbacks of the old scenes in all the old movies. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely. It's not that I. Yeah, I would say, I misjudged how they were telling it. Because like a lot of people speculated, okay, we're gonna do time travel. They're gonna do time traveling. They're gonna do something.
Right. We knew that.
Right. But the trailers didn't make it seem that way. You know what I mean? It made it seem that, okay, so we're gonna get everybody. We're gonna get whoever's left. We're gonna go after Thanos, and things have passed because we never found him, and we're gonna fight him finally. So we're gonna go take him somewhere. We're gonna take him somewhere that revolves some planet or the quantum realm. We're gonna suck him in there, and so that he's like virtually useless, and we're gonna fight him. That's what I thought would have happened.
So, were you one of the people that thought that there would be another big bad in this movie, or you knew wholeheartedly Thanos would be the guy?
Nah, I think it would. I think it was just gonna be Thanos first and foremost. I didn't think because at that scale, who else would you put? Galactus? We don't have anyone, equal to that yet.
Right? I think it would have been ridiculous if they threw another villain in, because it just would have kind of this whole arc is about Thanos. To throw another villain was literally kind of just threw everything on its head. Right, and it just wouldn't have made sense.
I think last year I was kind of like, oh, it would be really cool to see another villain, because what does Endgame really mean? But I'm kind of, and then weeks and months later after Infinity War, I was like, oh yeah, it does, I guess, make sense to keep Thanos and figure out what you could do to get him on your not to turn him or anything. I mean to get him to I guess reverse what he did. Yeah, it's so weird because if you're a very dumb individual, an unintelligent individual, going into this movie in the first 15 minutes, they go after Thanos and they succeed. I thought
it was hilarious.
And the way they go about it too.
They just fuck his shit up in like the first 22 minutes of the movie. They just burst into his bungalow, literally just pretty much subdue him and then just decapitate him.
And he's wearing a t-shirt, enjoying his nice little stew that he made. But if you're dumb, you automatically assume, all right, end of movie. And they kind of make you think that because there's this long black pause of oh, the credits might roll now. End of movie, which I thought was so fucking smart. But it leads you to it that moment right there sends everyone on their own path. Thor begins to realize, yes, I killed him. Finally, woohoo, I did it. But it's 20-something days too late.
Yeah.
I can't get anyone back. The stones are gone. Tony realizes that the same thing, basically. I need to focus on my family, and 5 years later, within that time period, he has a kid, and he starts raising a family. Everyone goes on their separate ways, and it's kind of, it leaves you to believe that all hope is lost. and it was Cap's now leading therapy sessions near City Field.
Which is pretty interesting.
You know, Black Widow's essentially the leader of the Avengers at that point, if you want to call them the Avengers at that point. She's basically head of intel, as she's always been, but, you know, the heart and soul of the Avengers is Black Widow. And she's kind of been the, I don't want to say the mom, but she's kind of been the person that has held everyone's hand and told everybody that everything's going to be okay and we got this. And as we say later in the film, that's no longer a thing anymore. But who did you feel more for? Did you?
So you have like Cap, right? Cap's story is the same. That's always been ever since he got out of the ice. It's I got to move on. I got to move on. I got to move on. I can't keep holding on to things in the past. I got to move on. So his story really didn't change much.
Right.
Tony finally settled down after what after what he's been saying for years.
Yeah.
After every Iron Man movie, it's always, I'm going to settle down. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Pepper needs me, blah, 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 blah. That's why she left me, you know, in the beginning of Ultron and this, that, and the other thing, you know.
Exactly.
So Bruce has always been struggling with the Hulk and himself. So he finally went Professor Hulk, and it was just like, okay, that's cool. Thor never thought of himself as a failure, so when he finally thought of himself as a failure, he ended up looking like Big Lebowski. So I don't know.
Essentially, yeah.
Right. I think Widow is the one that you're supposed to feel for the most, because the Guardians are the Guardians. Brody's doing his own thing. You know, Carol's Carol, and then like, you know, Hawkeye is literally just murdering people. But the person that you feel for the most is because Widow never had anybody. Like if like even from the beginning, she was always just like, you know, this killing machine, always taught to kill, then taught to feel, didn't have anybody else except for the team, except for Nick, except for Clint, you know. So it was like once she had that, and then she lost half of it, and it was kind of like everyone else is doing their own thing. No one wants to come back together. She has to hold on to something, or unless you lose sight of who you are. So I think that's who they're trying to make you feel for.
And her and Rhodey are kind of dealing with international crime now. The best in the best situations they can. They really make you understand that she's trying to hold on to something that she only knows. And the thing that got me, and you know how big of an Iron Man fan I am. The thing that got me, I think, more so was Tony. I was very happy for him. I was excited that finally he was able to take it easy and relax, and have a child of his own, and more or less retire.
Right.
But that stubbornness was still there, as you see later in the film when it comes to the time heist stuff, and he was willing to realize that this is a stupid idea. We can never do this. I like
tinkers with it anyway,
but still does it. Yeah, I liked Hulk's though. I think Hulk's story was funny, like realizing that he's just this big goof hanging out in diners and.
I love the yuppie Hulk pretty much.
Yeah.
You look at intellectual Hulk, glasses, sweater vest, you know,
and
dabs for the kids.
And then like you said, dude Thor basically came out, and the idea of having him just lose it all, and just gain all this weight, and become...
That shocked me. I didn't expect that.
It's a funny thing in the comics. I appreciated it. I think it was pretty fucking hilarious.
Is that what happens in the comics? He like just kind of gives up on himself?
Yeah, when he because there's multiple times where Thor loses like worthiness of Mjolnir, right? So like I think during one of those times he just kind of like gives up on everything. I think it's recent, right, Pete? Is that one of the recent ones?
Yeah, within the last decade, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I just know about it. I've never read it. I just know I've seen pictures of it. But can we just say shout out to the Russo brothers and the I forgot the writing team. The fact, and of course Feige, the fact that there are moments in this movie that are straight from the comic books, or at least taken from the comics,
Yes.
or at least
Yes.
or tweaked in some way. Listen, and there's many things that go against comic book rules in this movie, which is fine. So they know their materials. They know they've read the comics. They've researched the comics. They're fans of the comics. They have a giant team there, and just a huge appreciation for that, because they could have easily just been like, "Oh, Iron Man's going to do X, Y, Z. We've never heard of him do that before," and you could do that. But the fact of the matter is, you're giving that bit of fan service to the people who've taken the time over the years to read this stuff, and you finally get to see it on the big screen. That's some stuff that you cannot give more than enough thanks for that. And just like little things, like little stupid shit that they just put in this movie. The idea, would you ever think you would see Professor Hulk in a movie? No.
No,
No.
definitely not. I would never.
We all thought Hulk was going to go full berserk in this movie. But no, they completely 180 us. Or at least me, because I was thinking he was going to go nutso.
I was really surprised by the Professor Intellectual Hulk. I like Intellectual Hulk.
I do too.
It's such a weird twist to his character.
And also, what does that mean going forward for the future? Like, what does he become? Does he become this mentor person? Does he like what happens here? But so okay, a lot of people are talking about this online, and I find it really funny because again, these are people that don't read comic books. If you know anything, if you read comics, anything can happen. Just like in life, anything can happen. The Scott Lang thing with the rat is what people are talking about. They're like, "Oh, that's stupid. That's impossible. That can never happen."
That rat saved the universe.
Like, the rat literally is what... The rat, you need to give him a medal. Like, that rat...
Heroic rat. That rat was a hero.
That rat deserves the key to the city. Because without that rat, none of this gets fixed. None of it.
Like, one thing I don't understand, people do, like, oh, that rat, that would never amaze it. First of all, do these people not have... I'm assuming these people never lived in New York City. Because... That was not a San Francisco rat, bro. That was a New York City rat.
Yeah, that was a big ass rat. That was a big ass rat.
In San Francisco.
Full disclosure, the rat has had 5 years to get to San Francisco.
Oh, that's true. That is true. That is true.
The rat has made his way to the big gay city that is San Francisco.
Wow.
Because, like
that's a big rat.
I personally have seen, like, rats bringing down pizza, killing off pigeons,
right?
Like, doing crazy shit. So, pushing a few buttons and getting inside a freaking car is not out of the ordinary.
No,
I'm just saying, like, that's... If you're complaining about that, you seriously have some problems. I'm sorry.
I saw some posts. People are
complaining about the rat.
I mean, if you complain about the rat, you should complain about other things in the movie. Like, there's other things you could also bring up, but it's based on comics. It's suspend your disbelief. There's a giant fucking purple guy. Like, come on.
Time travel.
There's
Pym particles. It's all silly. Come on.
Like, also, Antonio, did you get the joke when he meets his daughter? Did you get what he was going at?
What are you talking about?
So, you know who his daughter is, right? His daughter's stature. Do you get the joke that he said to her?
You're so big now?
Right, because she gets giant as stature. And I thought that was freaking amazing.
Oh.
That they mentioned, like, yeah, exactly. But
I wouldn't get that.
No, and that's fine, but that's what I'm talking about. Little things like that they throw in this movie. Little jokes like that, and you're like, it's like icing on the cake. You don't need it, but it's cool. It's cool to have it there.
Yeah. There's a ton of different, like, little nods and little, odes. One of the biggest ones that we're going to be, like, fast forwarding a little bit for my topic, but it's like one of the biggest, like, references of, like, comic books of modern time was when Cap was in the elevator with everybody that was all the Hydra agents.
Yeah.
And, like, he knew they were all Hydra agents, right? And then he just goes, he's like, all right, just take it. And he just says, Hail Hydra. Like, that's Secret Empire, like, right there. Like, everyone was so mad when they saw that in comic book form, and then when you see it in the theater and you see that, and you're just like, holy shit, dude.
And obviously, the only reason he knows it's Hydra is because he's lived through it and he got to see that. I was so excited to hear that. For a second I thought chaos would ensue, that they would kick his ass, but they just
I
relaxed.
thought it was gonna be a little repeat of the Winter Soldier scene, but
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
Clever.
thought too.
clever Cap was.
I thought he would say that, they
Man.
would get mad at him, but no. They were just like, oh shit, he knows more than we think, so we'll just give it to him.
I just just different references here and there and this and that, really as a comic book fan, you love to see, right? And I saw this one post before the movie came out. I saw this guy because I was telling the guys that this movie, some people feel it's as divisive as Last Jedi, where I personally don't see that, but
Yeah, not at all.
but-
Yeah, I
there
don't see
are-
that at all.
but there are some people who just don't like the movie for certain reasons, and they say things like, oh, the movies now dictate what's happening in the comic books, and I don't like that, and this, that, and the other thing, and
Or vice versa.
yeah, and it's like, well, of course it's going to take source material from the comic books because that's where it's from originally.
Yeah.
But just because the reason why the movies are changing the comic books is because there's a lot more people watching the movies, and they'll understand movie lore more than they will understand comic book lore, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
there has to be some sort of balance, and I've been saying this for years. I don't think Marvel comic books, Marvel comics as of right now, their storylines aren't as strong as DC's.
Right, which is why I don't read them.
Yeah, but if you're really going to complain about the comics are changing and the movies weren't that good because you keep doing this and this and this and it emulates that, it's just then why are you watching these things?
Well, it's also they're probably the same people that are like, why is there politics in my Marvel comics? Because that's what the comics were based off of in the beginning. Think about it. Captain America kicked Hitler's ass. So that's where some of this, the inspiration for some of these characters come from. But I bet those are the same type of people. Also, to your point, movies are more popular now than the comics. In the past, the comics were more popular than the movies. They've made these movies in the past before. Remember, there was a Captain America movie before, back in I think it was the 80s.
You mean TV show?
I've watched
TV
clips
show, right?
of it.
Yeah, right.
It's terrible.
Obviously terrible. But what was better at the time? The comic. Same thing with Hulk. The TV show, granted, at the time was revolutionary, but not that good.
Well, I don't know about that. I love the original Hulk. That one, the TV show, that shit was nice.
Okay.
It was good. It was good for its time.
That's what I'm
I'll say.
saying. That's
It
right.
was good.
Revolutionary.
It was good for its
Time.
time.
Yeah,
Yes,
revolutionary.
Yeah.
But,
Voice
still better than, not as good as the comics at the time. But now we're on the flip side these days. Less people are reading, more people are watching.
Yeah.
And
Well,
It's true.
That's just the world we live in.
I don't read comics, so I have no real knowledge of the source material it's based from.
And even me, someone who does, I'm not up to date with what's out now. Last time I read something continuously was 3 years ago. I was buying every week, in the sense of Marvel or DC. But yeah, it makes sense. So people need to stop. They need to stop complaining about that. So dumb. Did you? I was a bit taken aback by this. You let me know. How? And I guess I have to watch Ant-Man 1 and 2 again to figure this out. Scott was very intelligent in this movie. He knew a lot right away in regards to how all this stuff works. And a part of me was a bit confused by that because he's been playing the character as a bit of a, not a dunce. I wouldn't say, I also wouldn't say a complete idiot, but he was more average than anything. But when he came out of that quantum realm, he all of a sudden, because he was in there so long, probably why. But he knew everything, or at least he was good at theorizing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you because you're right. In the first two movies, Scott wasn't as intelligent as Dr. Pym or or a hope, obviously. But during those times, he's up. I mean, you spend so much time talking about like how things work, you kind of just pick it up. So you just start thinking, okay, you start piecing stuff together, and you're just like, okay, if we could do this, somehow we can do this. I don't know how to get us there, but this is just the idea of how to do it. So I'm gonna like look for like that's essentially his whole story arc in the movie is like, okay, we need to get all the smart people together because we could do this. This can literally happen. Like,
Well,
and
he
that's
also
literally
he also mentions he was in there for 5 months. In his like he lived in there for 5 months, but in reality, in our time, he was there for 5 years. So
was it 5 months? I thought it was like
that's what he said.
It was. It felt very. It was 5. It felt like him 5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Which confuses me because the opposite occurs with everything else later. Like,
What do you mean?
The opposite happens. So they're in there longer, but they've only been in there for like 5 minutes or whatever. Like even Hulk at the end, right?
Yeah.
So it flipped. Did they pick that up? Like I don't. Did they even notice they made that? Is that a mistake or is it just maybe Hulk made a tweak and it like I don't. I'm probably reading too much into it. Just like there's something else I'm going to mention later that I'm probably reading too much into. But like is that a plot hole? I don't know. Like,
Well, that's the really really sticky situation when you do time travel because time travel,
right?
it's very 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 difficult to do right.
No, but
and I'm not.
My point is like the writers, did they not realize it's the opposite? Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not talking about like time travel itself. I'm just saying like, did they not realize? Oh, we got the numbers wrong here. Let's switch that. Like I don't know. Weird. Time
Fair.
travel though, the way they explain time travel in this movie, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
To me, I didn't really think. I mean, I still really don't get the time travel that well in this movie. I mean, I feel like I have to watch it again.
Sure. Yeah.
But I feel like they kind of set it up so it's something you really just don't need to think about too much.
I think the way they set it up was to not give them plot holes, to not give them
Sort of.
to
Because
not.
wasn't it pretty much, as from my understanding, it's like, so they can go back in time to speak, but they can't really, like, if they edit something, they create an alternate universe. They can't change the already existing timeline that they're currently present in, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Because the whole joke was that if you go back, kill your grandfather type of thing,
You won't exist.
right? But according to Hulk, that's a
You
fucking
do.
joke, and then it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, But what
Mhm.
does happen, apparently, as we find out from the what's her face, what? Oh my God, what's her name?
Nebula.
No, Doctor Strange. The
The guard.
oh my God,
The Sorcerer Supreme.
Tessa
I don't know her.
Thompson's. I mean, not Tessa Thompson.
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton's character, yeah. The you just said it, the Sorcerer Supreme, right?
Yeah.
She basically lays out the whole idea that, which is also another explanation to us. You do this, this happens there. You do that, this happens there. I like what they did though, joking about like all the time travel movies that we've seen or shows, and how to not think of time travel the way they've done it, and to go about the way we're gonna explain it in this movie. And I think for the average person or anybody, they did a pretty good explanation for it. And even if they didn't, I'd be okay with it because time travel, like Mike, you said, is confusing to begin with. So you don't really need to give me all the details. I get it. You're going in the past. You're trying to change some stuff. You get back. Things don't work out or they do. I get it. It's time travel. But the fact that they went into it was really awesome.
Well,
They at least try to explain it.
Yeah. Were you
They kinda-
confused, Antonio?
They kind of. Not really. Because like the way they explained it is one of the actual how do you call it, like actual like things that people talk about. I'm not gonna say my high school physics like studying made me a time travel expert, with quantum physics, but I did do like black hole research when I was in high school, like because I had to do a project on it. So like when they were explaining it, it was just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what they said in here a little bit. So it's kind of like I get it in layman's terms. Now, obviously, they weren't gonna go heavy with like freaking equations and stuff because that's gonna be boring and people are gonna fall asleep.
Right.
But like the way they explain it of just okay, so even if you go back in time and you kill yourself, that self would be your present, you killing your thing, and then that but you going back in time is your past, so you can't change that. It's like
I also like what they did because it leads us to believe that this is the real way to do time travel. Like if we were to
right.
actually do it in real life, you do it this way. And I like
Yeah.
that they led us to believe that.
Yeah.
Because it gives you this understanding of which the MCU does perfectly well, that this is cemented in reality with giant other events going on. But at the end of the day, these are regular people doing heroic things, and so it leads me to believe that like, oh yeah, if we were to sit down and actually do this on in a lab, we could actually get it done. So I like that idea. I think that was pretty cool. And did you? I'm kind of glad that they didn't do this with Pepper Potts. Are you? Because what I was expecting was, do you know when they were in the house and he's like, I got it, I did it, and she automatically knew what he was talking about. I'm so glad they didn't make her do, oh no, don't do it, it's dangerous. So glad they didn't do that stereotypical like girlfriend wife thing. She was like, no, like you're not going to sleep, yada yada yada. I'm glad she was on his side, and I don't know, I just that little something that small. I'm just so glad they didn't like make her do that because it wouldn't be in her character to not do that.
Mm-hmm. I think the reason why they did that is because her character's already been through that, like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, right, Age of Ultron, like right before everything, her character's already like, I'm already upset that you spend so much time doing the superhero thing, you don't spend time with me, and then like when it finally happened, she was like, that's who you are at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You're gonna go save people, you're gonna go fix everything right, even though you're gonna probably die, and I don't want you to do this, but I know in my heart I can't stop you. Like right. I tried multiple times, and you could see it if you watched every single movie, like every single Iron Man based movie, so it's like for her to just say, yeah, don't do it, throw everything away, kind of like it would just be like, okay, that would be Pepper like 2, 3, 4 movies ago. Like it doesn't make sense now.
Right. Yeah, she's grown, though we don't see her as much. In the movies, last time we saw her was obviously Infinity War, but before that was Homecoming, and we saw her for like a few seconds at the end of that movie. But before that, it wasn't since
Iron Man 2, 3
maybe, because she was out of Ultron.
Yeah.
And she hadn't been in since the Iron Man movies, I think. So
yeah,
she's forgiven him. She's clearly in love with him. They had a kid together. I mean, come on. And they trust each other, and she trusts him. She knows he's a genius, and that he won't fail. And he didn't fail, as we see later on. Full honesty here. I was a bit scared though when they went into the past because I did not know what they were going to do in regards to, are they going to ruin my enjoyment of the other movies?
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to make those movies feel better? Like, is it going to change anything, how I view those movies? Because, like, what I want to do one day is watch every single movie within, like, a few days. Back to back to back to back.
Like the Alamo Marathon, the 52-hour marathon of 22 Marvel movies.
Well, but in my house, in my own comfort of my own home. Yeah, I can't do a straight run.
Over a span of few days.
Yeah, for sure. Like maybe 2 movies a day, 3 movies a day at max.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually lead to Endgame. That's what I want to do one day. But what I don't want is to me go and watch like Avengers and go, I once considered this the greatest comic book movie ever, and now I don't. Like, I did not want that to happen.
Oh, with Endgame when they're going back and okay.
Yeah, or with any. And it also gives me a little different appreciation for Thor: The Dark World. You know, like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
because
So it
it's,
really did.
now you're like, oh, I guess that movie had a purpose. You know, so I kind of want to get into like each planet that they went to, if your guys are cool with that. But did you think something bad? Were you afraid that while doing time travel, were you afraid someone was gonna get stuck? Like, what were your thoughts? Did you think something was gonna happen while they were traveling?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, well, the way they set it up, I guess, in the first time travel scenes is the plan goes off without a hitch, so it kind of makes it look like it's smooth until Loki gets the Tesseract, and then Black Widow, spoiler alert, dies because they have to sacrifice somebody. But I guess it would have been boring, honestly, if they did the time travel without like any issues. It would have kind of like it would undermine the impact of the scene.
Well, I
if they were
know, but
just-
what I'm asking is like in the process of time travel, not
Yeah.
getting there. I meant like the process of getting there. Like,
Yeah.
as with Scott.
Oh,
like,
you
how
mean
Scott
actually?
became an
Oh, I
old
see. Okay,
man
now I
and
see what you
everything.
mean. Maybe for the first couple of seconds or though, maybe something could have went wrong. Like someone could have traveled to the past as a baby, but they know once you show that everyone kind of got there safely, that thought kind of disappeared from my head. I didn't think that was really going to be a thing.
What about you, Antonio?
I didn't see like it would have been interesting if something were to go AWire, right?
Right, it would have been crazy.
It would have been interesting. Like maybe okay, so they go to, for example, maybe they end up doing Age of Ultron stuff and doing some things there instead of like going to where they need to go, right? Like somehow. But throughout the whole thing, they kept saying, "Okay, this is the only shot. This is the only shot. This is the only shot. We only have a few." So I don't. As things went on, they kind of made the notion, okay, so this is going to work. They have Tony here, the genius, with Bruce to make everything work. So it's going to work. What's going to happen is things are going to happen while they're in their locations.
Right.
That's,
right.
As you keep watching, that's what
That's exactly
it comes to your head that's what's going to happen.
And I think of all four of them, I think the only one that nothing really bad happened was Asgard. I mean, granted they got chased, but I don't recall anything insane going on.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I thought while they were in Asgard, some shit would have happened and like Loki would have like breaking out in there.
Right.
Noticing like fat Thor running around, like I thought something happened, but Thor's whole arc in this movie is just identity crisis. So
No, I think if something was going to happen with Loki, I thought it would have been in Asgard, because why not?
yeah, absolutely.
Not on Earth.
Yeah, because I kind of forgot that he was so heavily involved in the first Avengers for a second. Let's talk about Asgard since we're on it. Rocket seems to always have these poignant moments because he's a great leader.
I like Rocket.
He always has these poignant moments with his fellow characters, giving them a pep talk or giving them this reality check.
Right.
And he always seems to do it well. Bradley Cooper, good man. He always does that really well and does it here. But this is all predicated on the fact that Thor needs to see his mom again. And we get Natalie Portman for like half a second, which I was like, I wonder how much she got paid to sleep on a couch.
Apparently, what I read online, that was unused footage from another movie. I don't remember which one. That wasn't new.
It's got to be Thor: The Dark World, then.
Yeah, so it was Dark World footage.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I read online.
Oh damn.
Wow.
I kind of wish Natalie Portman was in the movie though.
Well, she
honest.
is, but
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Had speaking lines and
yeah. I'm even shocked they brought her back at all. Only because the last movie was Dark World, and we haven't heard about her since. And finally, out of nowhere, they bring her up again. Like when Thor was giving that speech, when he was kind of giving that drunk speech about the stones and how to get there. And I think that's one of the greatest scenes in this movie, only because it reminds me of like a kid being nervous, giving his first presentation in school.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's basically what it's like. And then the kid just keeps going on and on and on because they don't know how to stop the presentation, so they just blabber. I think that was pretty awesome. This movie does a good job with Thor's humor, and I think each Thor movie has added to that. His ability to be relatable, and this is on Chris. Like, this is completely on Chris Hemsworth. It's on the writing too, but Chris has to deliver, and he does a perfect job of it each and every time. And I think it sucks that Thor's kind of run ends in this movie in a bit. Maybe. I just hope we get more of Chris Hemsworth going forward. Maybe we get that in Guardians, but I don't want to lose that great comedy that he gives to us.
I don't think you would. I think that's just an integral part of the character. He's always kind of just joking around.
No, but I'm saying I don't want to lose the character at all. Like, I want him to keep going on, and clearly...
I think there's more use for. I think there's more use for him. I'm not sure what he'll be doing, but I don't think he's done just yet.
Yeah, I think more he's going to start going. Instead of helming his own movies, he's just going to be like Hulk, and just appearing in others' franchises and stuff like that. Like because at the end of this movie, he's going to be with the Guardians, so that gives us like a little. Little sneak peek,
and
for lack of a better term.
Valkyrie's now the queen of Asgard on Earth, which is so mind blowing that Asgard's now on Earth.
That's hilarious.
Like, I don't know if that's ever happened in the comics. I don't care, but like, what? That's so weird. I'm pretty sure they're in Norway or some
North Scandinavian country, Iceland sort of or something like that.
They're definitely somewhere over there.
So those are all the refugees of Asgard, right? I guess more or less.
Right.
Yeah.
The ones that
very interesting.
Yeah.
I like that scene.
Oh,
I remember of Aquaman. I don't know, just parallels to Aquaman.
It did.
In a sense.
It did. It reminded me very much of that scene from Justice League, where
more of Justice League when he's in the little village. He's kind of like the so-called this leader.
Bruce
more or
goes
less.
to go find him. Yeah, that exactly what it reminded me of.
That's right.
So Asgard,
arguably one of the best scenes in the movie is I think is Porg, right? That's the rock guy's name, Porg, or
Korg. It's Korg, right?
Korg, yeah, Korg.
Korgs are the little creatures from Star Wars.
Star Wars, bro. Yeah.
No. Well, I mean the rock guy.
Yeah, Korg.
Yeah, Korg. Okay, yeah.
Played
Korg.
by the director of Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Taika Waititi. That's him.
Oh, that's just great. He's like, hey Thor, Noob Hunter, 69 is back. He's bothering me again. Noob Hunter. Oh, like he's yelling at like little kids playing Fortnite. It's so funny.
It's our dream. That's what we do, you know.
It's like
Thor having a real life moment now.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, geez, that's fucking great. That's great.
I question that scene only because this movie was shot like 2 years ago, so I'm curious if they had a green screen on that screen and they were like, let's just put the most relevant game on, you know.
Fortnite's been popular for a few years now. At least two.
But was
right?
it big? I'm curious if it was it big enough for them to be like, yeah, we're gonna put it in the movie. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I wonder.
I think so because Fortnite originally because they have a deal, they have an event going on right now. It's the Endgame event.
Oh right, they have
before
Thanos.
This. Yeah, but before this, they had a Thanos event.
That's true. You're
right before
Infinity War.
Yeah, came out, and everyone was like, "Yo, what the hell? This is crazy."
Yeah.
And we had no inkling of the Fortnite reference in the movie until now. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's some sort of marketing thing there.
Of course, I would have a doubt.
Yeah.
It's all intentional. Look at the Audi that Iron Man drives.
Oh yeah, somehow Audi's still making beautiful cars in the world that they live in. Like what? That's so that one pisses me off only because just it's stupid.
Audi still exists, but the Mets don't.
Right. And funny thing,
Oh,
Not as-
arguably that could you just be one of his cars in his garage?
That's true too.
Because there's a lot of inconsistencies with the world. So my friend was like, so now that Fortnite is canon in the MCU universe, right?
right.
Fortnite had an event with Thanos before this, right? So my friend was like, so does that mean Epic Games was making millions of dollars off of a tragedy where millions of people were killed?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh my
I think it
god.
was half the development team. I guess what members of the development team to survive the snap anyway.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Holy shit. That's genius.
Half of Epic Games is like gone. There's like 10 people left.
That's insane. Also, like, how does he that? He must have a really good internet connection in the middle of nowhere over there.
And Sony? What about Sony? The servers got to still be up. You can still connect to
Yeah.
PlayStation now. Sony still exists.
Also, Thor thought they were cable. Like they thought, he thought Hulk was a cable guy. How do they still have cable out there? When to begin with, they only have like 5 people that live there, like, and half of those are gone. So it's like 2.5 people. Like, how's there a cable guy?
I don't know.
How's he getting all that
Like-
beer too? Like where? Who
You know, I want
survived?
to see a movie that takes place during the snap, 2-3 years into the snap, maybe.
Oh, you
Just
want to
like
see
just
a movie?
like just like references of like, oh, what's happening and
Yeah, just
stuff.
average people trying to survive this, I guess, apocalyptic
A
event.
day in the life.
Yeah, like they show little glimpses, but they never give you a full, a full site. Empty city feel. San Francisco is practically depopulated. Tokyo
What I like
practically empty. Yeah.
What I like about City Field is the same amount of people that would go to a regular Met game were in those seats.
Oh my god! Wow, terrible.
And
But yeah.
so MLB. So if Fortnite and Sony can still exist, why is Major League Baseball still a thing?
Yeah, like how is?
Yeah, half of the teams in the league still play, just not the other half.
I mean,
The
it might
entire
have been.
National League is gone, but the
Yeah,
American
I know.
League still exists.
It might have been the off season. It might have been the off season. Also, first off, 5 years later, clearly it happened during a Mets game because the whole parking lot's,
Filled
filled.
with cars.
But my thing is, really, for 5 years you couldn't get rid of those cars? Like, what? Also, again, like you just said, does baseball not exist now? Do like
Right.
what's the? I don't. There's a lot of weird questions I have.
Yeah, so television still exists. Internet connection, Sony, PlayStation, Epic Games still exists. Fortnite.
But
Some of these
baseball,
people,
no.
but what about everything else?
Also, how are they getting all their food? That means like half the farmers in the world are gone.
It's true.
How are they still able to make enough food for 3 billion people, or 4
That
billion?
is
people?
true.
Questions,
No,
And also another
stupid
thing, right?
questions, but good questions.
No, but yeah, they're questions. They're just like, obviously we're nitpicking at this point,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's still like begs to wonder, Like,
Yeah, it's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
mean,
Well,
you
just
also
like-
got to know Black Widow says that directly after the snap, she mentions about the world government's doing like a census. So there's still some kind of law and order system in place. So it's not like the whole world is broken down entirely. It's not like a fallout where it's like a complete apocalypse.
That's
Yeah.
true. But they also do mention that some governments were struggling.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
she
not
does.
completely gone. Even if they were
Right.
struggling, not completely.
right.
They don't. It's like they're not complete. Not like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But that just goes to show you in 26 days what could happen.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just like
well,
in
I mean-
our world, if all electricity's gone, the
That's
world
true.
ends. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Another thing that like my firm brought up is that, take for instance Peter Parker, right? Peter Parker got dusted.
Okay, I was gonna get to
So-
that.
So like, does that mean half of his the class that he was with
So can we?
are
can
they freshmen and
Yeah,
and
can
like
we talk about that? Because
yeah go
I
for
have.
it. Yeah,
I was gonna talk about that later, but let's do it now because I'm confused. Exactly what you just brought up. I am so confused by that. Okay, he's dusted, gone for 5 years.
Right.
He was, I
Right.
believe, a sophomore in high school in Homecoming.
yeah yes
What? Like how? Excuse me? Like, because his friend clearly, the way he reacts to Peter was like, "Yo, where you been, man? For 5 years?
right
5 years and that kid's still in high school?
Yeah. So
That left back 3 years in a row.
I think he got dusted too.
Okay.
But you don't know. Like, that's why we need to watch Far From Home to, like,
And I'm sure they're
really
going to explain it.
explain things. Hopefully.
What they might do in Far From Home is do kind of what they did in this movie, show you a beginning thing. Maybe they might show some dusting. Maybe they might show the undusting. They're going to show, they have to. Like, you don't, that's because it's so confusing. Or maybe they are in college, but it doesn't look like college. Look like our college. Our college is a bit like a high school. But,
Sure.
but you know, like, so, and how did Peter get enrolled so quickly if it is college? How did he get in so quickly?
No, I definitely think it's still high school.
Right.
That scene.
Yeah, I think he's just going back to his old Midtown High, you know?
It's so... And the other question that people had is, why isn't nobody noticing him? Well, he didn't have friends to begin with, so, like, there's that. I'm fine with that. But
I mean,
he
but
wasn't...
the thing is, like, why does nobody notice him? Well, half the world got snapped. So
Right.
he could have just been snapped somewhere else, you know?
Here's a big thing, and I don't think anyone's brought this up. But maybe they have. I didn't really pay attention to if they did in the movie. Hypothetically, you get dusted. You're gone for 5 years. Your wife has moved on. She's now married to another guy. They have 3 kids.
Oof.
You come back into the picture.
Oof.
Oh yeah. I was reading about that. Like, you just how do you reintegrate? Like,
Wow.
There's like a darker side of the MCU we don't see. I was reading on Reddit. Yeah, someone's like the suicide rate post snap must have been enormous.
Oh
like,
my
just people
God.
coming back and having no place in
your
the world.
job,
Their family's gone.
Your job's non-existent, probably.
Yeah.
There has been no use for it for 5 years. You don't have a job.
Your friends, family who have not been dusted all have moved on.
They've moved on.
That's
They're in
insane.
therapy. Imagine the people that didn't get dusted. Imagine their suicide rate.
Yeah.
You know, clearly they're never going to go into that completely.
No.
But
No.
it's just
They
something.
hint at it. Well, Glenn, you know, that whole therapy seems like a glimpse into the world.
Right.
You know, how everything depressing and dark everything is. But yeah, it's not going to go with you.
And really cool seeing one of the Russo brothers, as one of those patients. And I guess you get a little bit of a glimpse of that with Hawkeye.
Oh,
With-
yeah.
With what he's going through. And for some reason, he believes the best way to medicate his loss is to kill everyone else that has survived. Which is a fucking dark way to look at it.
Well, the criminals at least. He's not a serial killer going around just killing random people.
True, but still, I mean, he's still killing just to kill.
Well, it's a vigilante more or less. Yeah, he's just doing
Yeah.
vigilantism.
Yeah.
You're still not swaying me, Mike.
I don't know.
I still
I
think...
always say about his haircut, man. I can't take that mohawk
You don't like
slash
it? You don't like
mullet.
He's too old for that.
You're way too old.
He
for
has
that
a
kind of-
definite dad bod now. Like, definite, like, oh, he's
Yeah.
aged.
He looks ridiculous with that.
He's aged.
I don't know. I think he pulls it off a little
You
bit.
think so?
Yeah, when he doesn't wear the tank top. I mean, the hair works when you don't see neck down. You're like, oh, he looks cool. He puts
It's not
that
much
on.
the
He's like,
mohawk, it's the friggin' mullet that, like, as it connects to the back of his head, it just looks so bad. It's the mullet part. It's not the mohawk. I'm bad about.
you know, there's so,
I don't
actually, we've kind of, I know we jump around. I kind of want to go back to the time heist stuff.
Okay.
Let's go to Vormir, because
Mhm.
this is where the Soul Stone is.
Right.
And this is where Red Skull is, and we get
Red Skull.
the return of Red Skull in Infinity War. We realize why he's been there so long. He's basically been trapped there because of his pursuit of the stones, and his lust for it essentially has caused him to be stuck there. And so the whole idea, and he says it, of why you somehow get there is because it chooses you to go there regardless of I forgot how he said it, but it basically, the Vormir chooses you to go there. Like, it was inevitable that you were going to make it here. And Hawkeye and Black Widow are there, and I don't know about you guys, I was confused until the last moment as to who was going to go.
Yes.
They
And
did.
I think they did a good job about that.
They did that so well. Mike, did you have any inclination who it would be? Not give.
I just think that I didn't think that scene was gonna happen. Well, at least the sacrifice part. I just think they were gonna find some other way to get achieve
Oh.
the stone.
Wow.
That's just my,
Yeah.
Part.
Originally, I thought the same thing. I thought they were gonna somehow cheat the system.
yeah. The way they set it up, it almost when she grabbed him, I thought, okay, they're gonna do some other shit. Like this isn't necessary, but no.
See, I knew that wouldn't happen because what seems because at least in Infinity War, it led me to believe that the only way you can get it is that way because it like knocks you out and you wake up in this like weird dream.
hmm
So I figured that that's the power of the planet or the whatever doing it to you.
Yeah.
And so I knew that someone had to go and there was no way of cheating the system because there is no system. That's that shit's. I mean, I'm sure that you can call it a system, but whatever. Yeah, I don't think there was a way to cheat it. Someone must have had to go. But the lead up to that moment, we had a very emotional understanding of Widow's journey to that point.
hmm
She's basically said that she has no one, and all she just wants to what was it? Keep what she knows alive and go from there. And then and Hawkeye wants to redeem his family and basically die because that's all he lives for at this point is to just. I guess that's what he lives for is just to die. That's how I see it. I don't know. I didn't know who was gonna go. I was pulling for both to win,
That didn't happen.
and I
so.
thought it was gonna be him.
Yes, I also thought that
but-
originally too.
But stupid me for not realizing it had to be her. It had to be her for it to be more significant that she goes. Because again, she is not the soul, not the brains of the Avengers, but she's the heart of the Avengers, and
She's like they're a rock.
she needed to go of the two, I guess, for it to be more powerful. And it leaves us to go, what does this mean for the Black Widow movie? Probably a prequel, like you said.
So you think she's in terms of this timeline, she's dead. She's good. She's gone for good.
Yes, as I do as Gamora as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The like I said, like the current Gamora is from 2014.
Or
The-
did
Gamora
she,
technically is alive, in
or
a sense.
did she get dusted too? As we'll talk about later. Because they don't show her at the end of the movie. Ah. Did she not?
Oh.
She's not on that ship.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was bad at that time. She never went good. Yet. Because the last thing we heard her say was, "That's what I had to choose from." And then Nebula goes, "Well, you had a tree." So she never went good yet. Or at least we didn't see her go good. Did she get dusted?
Right.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I've also heard that maybe in Guardians 3, because did you guys pick up what Quill was looking at on that ship at the end?
It was a picture of her, right? Well, he's on the screen.
And he's
Searching.
for Gamora.
Yeah.
So maybe in Guardians 3, they get 2018 Gamora back. Somehow, some way, in Vormir. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
Possibly.
You think they'll bring Black Widow back inadvertently?
Well, my thing is like, I mean, if you're there, you might as well take her too.
Possibly, yeah.
So, but what, and then maybe someone dies in Guardians because of that, because you got to sacrifice, right? So, who knows? But anyway, so back to, I felt for Hawkeye at that moment because that was his best friend.
Yeah.
That was
His life is his life. I feel like he's like the most, other than Thor, and technically, and it's not played for laughs. He's like the most depressed character post snap by far. Like his life is. His life
he's
is
also.
ruined.
Yeah, he's like also one of my favorite characters too, because like if you like see Hawkeye's character arc throughout like all of the movies, it's literally I'm a soldier. I'm going to retire now, guys. I'm gonna take care of my family.
Right.
all been about a family, and it's like the meme where it's like I try to go out, but they keep pulling me back in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Something like
then,
that. Yeah, you're
Also,
not wrong. Yeah, it's close to like that.
Also, let's be
and-
honest. Everyone hates Hawkeye in the sense of he's boring. At least, not until this movie.
Sure.
Everyone more or less was. He wouldn't even be on people's radars of who dies, not seem as integral anymore. They would always forget about him in the movies. They wouldn't give him as big roles. But when they did, I mean, when they gave him his time, he did what he had to do. But like, what Avengers Ultron, he had like the least amount of screen time of anybody.
Yeah.
And in Avengers, I don't remember, but like, he hasn't had much to do. And also, well, obviously for storyline purposes, he was arrested, house arrest and stuff, for certain events in Civil War. But he hasn't had a lot of screen time. But like you said, when he does, it's impactful. It's meaningful. At least to us. For some people, it's like, oh, he's a boring character. He needs to go.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, especially in Avengers 1, where he like was a bad guy for the most part, even though like he
Right.
wasn't really being controlled. It was kind of stupid. Yeah,
I
feel like his character has come a long way.
And granted, I was one of those people that was like, if he dies, he dies. He doesn't, he doesn't. I don't care. But now I've grown to appreciate his character more so, and that's why when I go back to see all these movies, I'm gonna have a better feeling about him. I'm gonna feel so much. I think I'm gonna feel much more inclined to understand what he's going through than I ever have from this movie, and understand that there's a reason why he sees family as so important. And now it explains why he does what he does in Endgame and stuff like that. So I think they do an excellent job at that. So let's go to New York City. Let's go
2012.
2012. When this
2012.
when this movie came out, when the first Avengers came out, I was, how old were we?
17, I think. 17, 18.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, I was
graduating high school.
Yeah, I would have been 17
Yeah, I
when
was
I just
17.
came out.
Yeah.
So, for me, when Avengers came out,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably one of the greatest movie experiences I've ever had.
Same.
I think it's still in the top 5 greatest comic book movies ever made.
True.
After Endgame, I don't know if it's number 1 anymore. And so it has a very special place in a lot of our hearts. That classic moment of the Avengers in the middle of, in front of Grand Central, of that.
The spinning
Yeah,
shot
that
of
scene.
everybody, right?
That is so iconic to the point that they show it again in this movie. Like I said before, you fuck up this movie experience for me, I am not going to be happy. And if anything, they made it feel 10 times better. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you think? First of all, going to New York City, what did you think they were going to do? Because I didn't know. I didn't really think of like what scenes they would hit on.
Yeah. No, honestly, if you watch the movies, you kind of figure it out. Because I remember before Infinity War, right? Like you kind of figure, oh shit, in New York, there was like a ton of them at one point, you know?
Yeah, they said there was 3.
Yeah, and then they say it in this movie, and they're like, oh, I was like, oh shit, yeah, there were a shit ton of them at one point here, and so I knew they were gonna do something with like the first Avengers. I just didn't know like how far they would go with it. You know,
so
like if they were gonna partake in the were they gonna partake in the fight, and like their other selves would see them. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Well, that did happen technically. So
Right, as we see with
the
Cap.
epic Captain America ass bow.
Who the
Oh yeah. Don't worry about that, Cap.
America's
as
ass.
That
As
is
long as I
America's
get,
ass.
he's like, that's America's ass, and he just like salute. Scott's just saluting him while really small.
Let's just keep this in our heads. Scott Lang is the ultimate fanboy in the Avengers. Like, he doesn't belong there.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no, he's not a superhero in the slightest. He's just a dude.
He's just a dude that met
Suit, dude with a suit, with a shrink
Yeah,
suit.
he's
Yeah.
a dude that got lucky. He met a really smart man. He was a freaking thief.
he's a
you
thief.
know?
Yeah.
He got so lucky, and he's like that. He's like a kid who just
Kid in a candy store.
yeah, like it's beautiful though. I love it.
Captain Rogers, Steve America.
Yeah.
What's happening again?
But how fucking
I love that scene. That
How
scene was great.
amazing though was Cap fighting Cap.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I could do this all day. I know. I know.
Yeah. I never thought like you would like what? Who?
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite parts was that scene, but by far.
That was one of those nerdgasm moments of like, oh, this is what it feels like to be a fan of these things. It's seeing this happen on screen. I never thought I would ever get to see that. I didn't think I wasn't. It's not like it was on the list of mine, but like the fact that we've gotten to see that was pretty crazy. And I love how the safe word was Bucky's alive.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bucky's alive. Wait, what? Bang.
I'm also confused of how they lost both shields and they fell down to the ground, and then at the end Tony gives it back to him. He's like, "Don't lose this again." How the fuck did Tony find it? Like, I guess on his way.
Probably.
I guess on his way down, getting that suit, the SWAT outfit, he probably found it down there. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. But let's talk about like that moment because Thor fucks up. I mean, Hulk fucks up again. But he's like a little angry boy again, and he's like, I don't want to take the stairs, and he barges in. And
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious. The whole thing opens, and Loki gets away with it, which again leads to me to believe that the Disney Plus show is going to be all about that universe of Loki. I'm really, I don't know about you, but I was like really giddy in my seat because I got to see Robert Redford one more time.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, but he's retired from acting. So,
Really?
Yeah. So technically, this is his last movie, or at least chronologically, release date wise, this is his last movie. Yeah, he retired last year. He did a movie called The Old Man and the Gun. It's a really good movie. You should check it out. I have it if you guys want to borrow it. But, yeah, the fact that we got to see Robert Redford one more time, the leader of essentially, isn't he like the leader of Hydra? I wanna-
Yeah, at that time, he
Yeah.
was the
Something
leader
like
of
that.
Hydra.
So the fact that we got to see him, the big, kind of the big bad in Winter Soldier, in a sense, that was pretty dope. Just like another one of those like fan service moments of get to see probably one of the greatest actors to ever live on screen again.
Just about the time travel, like I think there's only one thing I was disappointed with. I was hoping for the Tesseract sequence, at least in terms of getting that stone. I was hoping they were gonna go back to the first Captain America movie to retrieve it, so the 40s, but that never happened. I was hoping that was the only thing I was hoping for.
Well, I think
in terms
the
of the
reason
time
they
travel.
don't do that is because it would might have to answer the question in regards to Captain Marvel, as to how does the Doctor get that?
I see.
Because again, you haven't seen Captain Marvel.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel,
So
I
somewhere
got no knowledge
from Captain America to Captain Marvel, so anywhere from 1940, the end of
5, yeah.
the end of World War II, so 45 to 80 something, the Tesseract makes its way to that Doctor somehow.
Well, it's still a part of the military.
Well, they had the Tesseract in 70 because that's where they retrieved it from. Remember?
Right.
The second shot. So they had it at least by 1970. They had it in government possession.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're just
Oh, so
definitely just
they had it at the end of Captain America?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I don't remember
They
that.
found
it's been
it, right?
so long.
They had that crash plane.
Yeah,
They just didn't find Cap.
You right. I forgot. Okay, so the only reason they went to 70 was so that Robert could meet his Tony could meet his dad again. That's why they did that.
That and also Hank Pym was still working at Shield at that time.
Right,
too.
exactly. So that's why they did that. So because I was gonna be like it would mess up Captain Marvel stuff, but no, it doesn't. So yeah, so it's only because to serve the Tony angle and Pym stuff. So that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, we're still in New York. The Hail Hydra thing we talked about before. We just talked about Captain America and his ass. and
America's
Loki.
ass.
America's ass.
And-
That's a very, very important part of the movie.
And Loki. And then they decide, because Loki took it, let's go to New Jersey. Did you expect that to be where Stan Lee would have his cameo?
No.
Me either.
No.
New Jersey of all places.
No.
Such a weird choice. I like it. It was funny. But it's not... I will say this.
But it wasn't fitting for his. Is this his final cameo? Or is he gonna have a Far From Home cameo?
I don't know.
I think this is his last one. I'm not. Don't quote me.
But here's the thing. You can't blame them. They didn't know the man was going to die.
Yeah. He was gonna keep making them. They say just keep wanting doing cameos as long as he was alive. So there's no like final send off.
Right.
So I was hoping for this movie anyway that the Stan Lee cameo that we got would have been a little more drawn out, or at least just in the way that it would be like kind of like serving as a send off to him.
Yeah.
Instead of just a one off, random 3-second cameo that he usually has. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. It was obviously he wanted to keep making the cameos as long as he was alive, so there was no planned end cameo, so to speak. So it is what it is, but I'm happy I got to see him at least for one more movie.
It is interesting, but they couldn't plan for it. They didn't know the man was going to pass away. I mean, I'm curious to see his cameo maybe in Dark Phoenix, if he has one in there, because I know he was still doing them, I think, for X-Men, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious about that one. And yeah, maybe there is one in Spider-Man. But definitely, if it is in Spider-Man, that is his last, for sure. Because they have not finished any other movie that we know about.
Yeah.
Unless they had him, do a scene, and then they're going to put it in to a movie, because, they know the scene already. Who knows?
Right.
Only time will tell if we'll ever see Stan Lee again in a cameo. But, yeah, it was weird, only because, again, like you said, we're expecting that poignant thing. But on its own, kind of funny seeing him in a wig.
Make love, make peace, or make love, not war, or some shit like that.
Yeah, that was cute to see.
Fun.
But then we hit probably one of the most beautiful moments in the movie, I think, is Tony talking to his dad.
Yeah.
Tony, and I heard someone talk about this earlier, and I think it's a very interesting way to look at this. Tony in Iron Man 1 was a kid. Granted, he was a grown man, but he acted like a child. And he's grown to be a man or an adult. He's the old man.
Mentally mature, at least.
Yeah. And but right when he sees his dad, he becomes that child again. And and he wants to really tell him that, Dad, it's me, but he knows he can't. He doesn't want to freak his dad out. And then his dad asks him advice on children, because clearly it's going to be him. It made me, for anyone who has a dad, which is all of us, more or less, it's just I think it's a very pivotal moment for Tony, and also a very poignant moment for all of us, just seeing that, especially if we've had rocky relationships with our dads. It's very, it hit me really hard because of my experiences. So I think for most people it would too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely mature development of his character from, all the way from Iron Man, the building of, Tony Stark as a person.
Yeah. Antonio?
No, yeah, I agree. Throughout, especially these last few movies, it's more, instead of, Tony being the I am Iron Man guy, wanting the glory, wanting all that stuff, he's slowly, you could tell, he's slowly learning that, or he's learned that, I am an adult now. I always wanted to, like, he always had like that rocky relationship with his dad, you know, because he always thought his dad always thought he was never good enough,
Right.
but that was all in his head, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when he finally realized, oh shit, like,
Well, it's because his father wasn't perfect either.
yeah,
Sort of, you know, had
exactly.
insecurities
I
and
mean,
vulnerabilities.
when your dad
so-
is basically
so-
Walt Disney, you
Yeah.
know, come on. But his dad
Yeah.
does make a point. He goes, "I do whatever I can for this kid," and then I think that right there for Tony was the thing that he needed to hear from his father.
Right.
And we got to see Jarvis.
Yeah, which a lot of people in our theater, the one I saw with you guys, were very confused about that. They were like, "Oh shit, Jarvis!" Like,
Oh.
what? Yeah, and
Right.
I'm just in here like, yeah, that's who he based it off of.
Right, exactly.
His butler.
His fucking butler. Come on, y'all.
So that moment happens, and I think before that he got the Tesseract. But who grabbed the Pym particles? Was it Cap?
Cap. Yes.
yeah.
Cap.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's where he sees Peggy Carter, like in the window, like across the room.
right. I forgot about that. That's what I was actually going to get to. That's another moment for a lot of for the fans that know who Peggy is. I mean, if you've seen the movies,
And seen the show.
and the show, you know what that person means to Cap. You know, she literally means the world to him. All of his life moving forward has been living to, you know, maybe one day see her again, and to live life the way she did and stuff like that. And he got to see her again. And again, one of those moments of like, I need to go. You know, he kind of wanted to say something to her, but knew better not to do that. That hit me too, because that's all he's ever wanted. That's all he's ever wanted. That's and then, of course, at the end. But the Jersey thing I thought was going to be a joke. To be honest, I thought them going to Jersey, the way they open it with Stan being funny, I thought it was just going to be a waste of a scene. I don't think there's any of those in this movie. I think this
Not
movie,
really, no.
for me in Infinity War, the one part that I skip over a lot, and I don't know about you, is the when they go to make Stormbreaker.
Oh, really?
I
You
don't
you
care for that scene.
Really?
I
Oh,
don't.
was it the dwarves?
Yeah, with Peter Dinklage.
Yeah,
Peter Dinklage.
I don't care for that scene as much, and I don't think I cared for it when I saw the movie. To be honest, but there's not a moment in this movie where I'm like, I gotta skip over this.
I mean, sorry.
No, I was just saying I thought Jersey was gonna be that, but go on.
Okay. Yeah, I think that scene in Infinity War is like a little necessary for the fact of Rocket and Thor's relationship, because like
Oh sure. Yeah.
them going there with Groot like definitely breeds that camaraderie that you especially see in this movie too, right? When Rocket smacks the shit out of Thor and he goes like, look, focus, like we got this, we gotta save everybody, you know.
Oh no, I agree with you. I just me,
Yeah.
I don't. I know that I skip it all the time, but I've also seen Infinity War like I don't know 10 times. So like,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
so
enough.
it's not like I've seen it only twice and I skipped it twice. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I don't currently don't have a point in this movie where I'm like, oh god, why? Like, not that I say oh god when I see that either. It's just it to me it's not, because I felt like in that scene in Infinity War, we could have done it differently maybe. I feel like it was a bit longer than it should have been. That's all. But yeah, anyway. So, I think the most important planet that they visit, because this is where the big guy comes back, and we're still talking about the heist stuff, and there's a lot more to talk about. Morag, when they go there, and who's there? It's Nebula, War Machine, and that's it, right? Or there's something else?
I mean, it's Nebula, War Machine, and Peter.
Quill, right?
Yeah.
But it was the only. it was only those two that got there? I don't.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Well, Morag, they dropped down with Clint and Natalia, but
Right, and
they
they
left
leave.
to go.
Right. See, I was confused by that at first. In my head, when I was writing these notes down, I was like, wait, there's somebody else that's there. But you're right, they do leave. I don't. This is one of those moments again where I'm a bit confused in regards to the plot. Again, not the plot. It's very small. I love this movie. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
The Nebula thing. Like, what is
Oh.
she on the same internet access as her other? Like,
Yeah, it's just the same
What?
neural matrix
well, when you
data banks.
to me, I took it as like she's on the same FiOS connection as.
I mean, yeah, essentially, yeah, you could say that.
But it's like how did that what like I'm still confused about. Again, I'm gonna not go too into it, but I'm just a bit confused. Like, how is that even a thing? You know? Do you have any
Well,
idea?
think of it like this, right? For example, you're using a online cloud drive, for example, right? So, but this is you in the past, right? So you somehow get yourself from the future, and you go to the past, but then so your all that information that you have stored is now there using their timeline rules, right? Using their time travel rules. So the you from the past is going through their cloud, and you're seeing a bunch of like new new files, right? Like you might see shit you've never seen before, and you're like, what the fuck? So you start accessing it. It's like, oh, did someone hack this?
I see.
Right?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
But you don't know.
as the new timeline in the future is being created, it's being set and it's being placed in the past because it's already there. I kind of see what you're saying. If that's correct, fine, maybe. I don't care really. At the end of the day, I don't care. But or maybe I do. I don't know. But I'm a bit like what about it? Confused, I guess you could say. But it's fine. Like this movie. Look, in the what was it? Spider-Man: Homecoming. There was like an 8-year jump or something. There was like some weird. Wasn't there like this weird time jump in Spider-Man or something? So like who cares really? But anyway. So we get Thanos, genius guy, right away figures out that, well, since he's currently in the pursuit of these stones, at some point he might get them all. So that at some point they're in the future. So he connects the dots like right away. And he understands that these are people from the future, and he quickly comes up with this plan to basically take the fight to them because the stones are already going to be there. Then you have the conflict between evil at that moment, evil Gamora and evil Nebula. Neither of them have turned yet. At some point, you have that slight turn of Gamora later when she's like, "Let's stop him," but I still don't think that she fully turned, which is why I partially think she got dusted at the end of the movie because again, they don't show whether or not she did or didn't. So I think the question's up in the air, and I think they're waiting for James Gunn to decide on that. But anyway, the relationship, we get more of that relationship between Gamora and Nebula, and this is one of the first times we got to see them both as bad together. I don't understand the quick turn though of Gamora later on.
I mean,
But maybe I do because she never bows down to her father and never completely trusts him.
Yeah, she never really.
So maybe that's why she did it.
She never really, like, in my opinion, like from what I've gathered, she never really fully, like, she was behind his whole genociding of people, you know.
Right. Yeah, I just I think, and also the whole infiltrating of Nebula, infiltrating the bad Nebula, infiltrating the Avengers, was obviously necessary, I guess, for her to give Thanos more time to plan, I guess. I think that was a really smart thing to do. I thought it was going to be really confusing because she switched plates, facial plates, I guess you want to call those, the gold one. And I thought it was going to be this whole like thing where I thought they were going to do on this whole like other side plot of like who's who,
Oh yeah,
big
yeah.
thing, but they didn't. Thank God, because I would have been so pissed off. They did a lot of things that didn't piss me off. They really did. They probably realized like, all right, we can't do certain things because it's going to confuse people, and we're going to stick to our guns and do that. And I think that would have been one of those things that would have been really disheartening for me to like have to go be like, which fucking nebula is this really? Come on, let's figure this out. And it turns out
yeah,
it was
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
this whole time. Or like, you know, like a shoot, you know, the classic like, which one is you? And like, there's like a gun facing, pointing at one of them. And it's like, tell me which one you are, and like only one of them knows the truth.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit.
Mexican standoff type
Like
of.
I'm so glad that
It's me. No, it's me. No, it's me.
All right, tell me your birthday. It's July 6th. Wrong. Dead. Yeah, I saw that happening, like in my head, but watching the movie, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna end up to be that.
I was gonna just ask, I guess, go into like the most probably important part, just like the deaths, the permanent deaths.
Well, that's yeah,
This
that's what we're
movie.
gonna get into. Yeah, after the Thanos thing, we get into this point where they're gonna use the gauntlet for the first time, and I liked that they were trying to figure out who was gonna use it, and Thor was very, very, let's say, I don't know, positive that it was going to be him. It had to be him.
Mhm.
But they give it to Hulk only because of the fact of his sheer mass and size. So he uses it, as we saw, gets toasted completely,
Messes him up pretty bad.
and then
Yeah, he literally like has burns and can't use his his left or right arm.
I think it's his right arm. I think it's completely
yeah,
in a sling.
and so he can't be used now in the fight much. That is about to happen. So the gauntlet's basically almost destroyed, and then Thanos shows up, and what the fuck, man? Like, he brings everyone. He brings the world, his people, to this one little location on Earth. And Mike, you said you didn't
Soldiers and
realize
everything.
that was Earth.
It reminded me of that other planet everyone's trapped on in Infinity War at the end.
Oh, Titan.
Just the way the Titan, yeah. Remind me of Titan. Just the way the ground looks and the same color. They use the same color palette.
So you completely forgot him destroying that area of Earth.
No, I didn't. But I just in the last second, I see everyone teleporting again. It reminded me of the end of Infinity War. So I kind of just lost track of thought. Once the action started happening. But it just reminded me so much of that planet. It just took me out for a minute. I was thinking, is this Earth still, or are we somewhere else?
I'm still trying to figure out how you didn't know that. That's so
I don't know.
weird.
Just lost. It just reminded me of the. I don't know.
Because
just
then
reminded me of the
they
movie.
showed Titan. They showed Titan when they were coming back. Did you not pick that up?
Not sure I didn't catch that.
Yeah. When Doctor Strange and Spider-Man come back with Drax and Peter,
Mhm.
that was Titan because they got undusted on Titan. And so
Huh.
that was that. That's why I'm still confused why you didn't know. But anyway, that's whatever. So I think the moment, because going into the movie, we were told the last hour is the greatest thing in comic book history.
So
Oh, yeah.
whack. That's what everyone was telling me. It was so whack. Like that last scene.
I didn't want to think that because I didn't want to like.
Wait. What do you mean the last scene? Like the very last scene?
I think he means scenes, like in the last act of the movie.
The last act, yeah, in the last
Like
hour.
the fight? Or
Yeah, well, the whole last hour is what he's talking about.
people saying it was whack or it was good?
Oh yeah, Mike, whack means
Well,
bad. So
okay,
what are you
well,
talking about?
All right, whack isn't crazy, but not in a bad way. So
Oh,
maybe I'm using the word whack
okay,
wrong.
okay.
Oh,
Just
okay,
whack
so-
as like it's
'Cause
just like
When I say
out there.
whack, I think bad.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think like
bad.
wacky, like whackness,
That's whack. Like that's crazy. Yeah, it was like in
Oh,
a
I
good
see what
way.
you're saying. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just- yeah.
So, I didn't want to think that because I didn't want to have my hopes up, and I didn't want to watch and then be, disappointed. But holy fucking shit, guys! That is probably one of the greatest things they've ever put to screen.
That final battle, just everyone kicking ass.
It was
Thor-
it was really epic. And there are some parts that I will nitpick in that fight.
let's go into it. Let's go into it. So
No,
wait,
there's just some parts that are just like obviously you favored certain types of people, but I understand why. You know what I mean?
well, what fight are we talking about? The big one at the end, or are we talking about the 3 against Thanos?
No, the big one.
Okay, so let's first talk about the 3 against Thanos. That's the
Oh,
first
okay,
one.
okay. That was amazing. Like that was.
That's what I'm talking about. And then I'm also talking about the other stuff too. But they are walking towards him. He's not even doing anything. They know it's a trap. They don't care. And they just go full berserk on him. And when it looks like Cap's going to die at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought he was going to die when Thanos had his giant sword and he was pushing it close toward his chest. I thought that's where Cap was going to bite it right there.
I thought he was going to die at some point. Clearly, he wields the hammer, and they go.
That was so epic too.
Like
that was one of the biggest moments.
I
in the
think
movie,
people in our theater jumped up in their seats. I think some of them got out of their seats.
Yeah. During that scene, right when I first went to go see it, with Chris. Chris and I are huge Captain America's fans, right?
Yeah.
So like he's more of a Cap fan than I am, like for movie wise. So like when that happened, I literally all I was doing, I was just punching him on the side, like
oh my god,
like light punching him on like his shoulder a little bit. And I was like, yo, and he goes like, yo, I know, like he's trying to like. It's really funny.
I didn't see that coming.
No,
I didn't see that coming because I totally forgot about the scene in Ultron where it nudges a bit. I was like, it wasn't even in my head. I wasn't like, oh, they're not going to do it. I wasn't even thinking about it. And then it happens. And then he wields both of them.
Yes.
What the fuck, man?
It's also really funny too. Is that getting to like the final scene when he wields like both of them too, is like when he's fighting with Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, and then he gets Stormbreaker and he goes, Thor's like, no, I get the bigger one. You take the smaller one. Here you go.
So Cap looks like he's gonna die. It looks like it's inevitable. Did you think that this would be his time to go at that moment?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to bite it in that final battle.
I think so too.
And it made sense in that moment. And then he gets saved. But what then proceeds to happen is everyone comes back. Right? Does that happen right after that? Yeah. Everyone comes back. The portals start to open, and they just start landing in, and everyone's there. Fucking even Pepper Potts is there.
Everyone is in the battle.
Everyone is there. First of all, Pepper Potts as rescue. I didn't think that would ever happen until I saw the leaked photos, in a year or two ago, and so I was like, all right, that's gonna be awesome when we see that. Thought it was gonna happen earlier in the movie. I thought she was gonna be the one that saves Iron Man. Clearly that was Captain Marvel, but I thought it would have been Pepper. That would have been really cool too. But so anyway, everyone's there, and it's like, oh shit, this is like Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yes, that's what my friend
This
said.
is Lawrence of Arabia epicness. Like, this is insane. Like, what's gonna happen? I thought they were gonna mess it up too, because all that CGI going on, and what characters you're gonna track. How are you gonna figure that out?
Mm.
And they did it by following the gauntlet, and I think that was probably I don't know if that's your best option, but that was a pretty smart option because now we know. All right, let's follow the gauntlet. Let's follow where that's going. And so Spider-Man had it a bit, Black Panther had it a bit, Captain Marvel had it, and I don't know who else had it, but people had it. And then I think one of the greatest things in this movie happens. You have the fact of the matter is you have the female Avengers come out. And I think that was pretty fucking dope because...
Oh, yeah, that's one of the That's part of the twins where it's like, all right, that's cool, but
Why? What's your problem with it?
it just like I have no problem with it, right? Because I believe they're talking about making an A-Force movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so like I get why they did that scene particularly for that. But it's more like, I mean, yeah, like that. I think personally that scene would be more iconic and for me if Widow was there because she is the de facto female leader of
Sure.
like the female Avengers. So like the fact that she's not there kind of spoils it, and also the fact that in the movie theater when we went to go see it, the experience of that scene was even more ruined thanks to the guy
right.
sitting next to me, like not next to me, but a seat across, like 2 seats over from me. So it just doesn't,
What did he say then in the movie? Who was going-
it was just this is just more background stuff for the people listening. Is that when we were in the theater, it was arguably my worst movie experience. For one of the biggest, highly anticipated movies of the year. Some dude was like it was like five, like he was a grown adult, acting like he was a 12-year-old. Like asking like, and it's fine, right? It's fine to act like that and be surprised and having these emotions and while watching a movie, but sometimes it's not needed. Like you goes like for the most littlest things you got.
I remember
who is
that.
Who is that? Batman? Oh God! Oh Lord! Like
Yeah, I remember that.
Like dude, shut
Well,
up! Like just shut up! Just shut up!
Did at one point Iron Man's what was it with the shield, the cap
Oh
shield?
yeah, he's like, how did he get that? Who is that? What's going on?
Oh yeah,
Like
but
he was.
the question is like, well, how did you not know how he got that? He just said he got it in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. And like so when that scene with especially with the A-Force essentially, when that happened, he was just like yes, yes,
Oh my
like he was
God,
ejaculating,
that's
like he was like
I mean,
so happy that this was happening, and it was just like I get it, right? That deserves a standing ovation,
yeah.
Marvel hasn't been the first few people when it comes to their movies to showcase strong female leads.
Yeah, they've
right?
been pretty bad at it. Let's be honest with that.
Yeah. So and I'm not mad that they did it. It's just holy shit, like.
He took you out of the scene.
So it's a bit sour because of the guy.
Yeah, and again, it's like I understand and like another thing is like I really wish Widow was there, because and it's just like. I get all these people are super strong, I get, that's why. So it just, there's just some factors. There's just some factors. It's just,
I like the scene, not even because this fucking, I think it has nothing to do with the political climate we're in and people, Me Too, all that stuff. I think they shot this way before all this stuff is going on in the news. And
you would hope so.
And even if they didn't, I don't care. It works in the movie. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't need. I hate that we're even having this conversation only because.
No. See, but the thing is, they have something very similar in Infinity War, very similar.
With the
I personally like that version again because it was spearheaded by Widow.
Okay, so this is more of the Widow thing than.
Yeah, because it's like.
Well, I like it because it's characters that we've never really seen before together, lining up.
Yeah,
they're
fair.
all very different, and it's recreating that Avengers, scene from the first one. I like it because of that.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
I get. Like I said, I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying, like, I just feel that if Widow were there instead of Carol, I like as the like de facto leader, quote unquote, of that whole scene, like that specific scene.
You saw her as the leader there? I didn't.
Yeah.
I have to watch that again. I took Pepper as the leader there.
No,
I agree with you. If I see it again, but at this moment, I don't know. We'll see when I see it again. I'll figure that I believe you though. I believe you.
Yeah.
So that happens, and I'm just more. This fight scene is just a big orgasm. It's just a continuation. Like you just keep going and going and going. You don't know when to stop, and it's nuts because what then happens is what a lot of people thought was going to happen. A lot of people feared this. You have the most powerful superhero, probably currently in that battle, show up, Captain Marvel, and she starts kicking ass.
Oh yeah.
And you think, for a lot of because and the Russos did it right here. She was a hair close to killing him. And then she fails and doesn't, and he whacks her to like 18 football fields away.
Well, he was also about to die to Scarlet Witch too.
Right. True. I kind of forgot about that too. You're right.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But the Russos knew that they had to, not have those people do it.
Shut her down real quick. Shut her down real quick. Power stone her to the jaw.
But notice now how powerful she is. That he needed a stone to kill her, or quote unquote kill her, because we don't think
he's pretty weak without the stones. Hence, he dies in the first.
Yeah, Tony spears him. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Tony speared him before that last encounter.
I mean, it's also like you have to understand this man has been fighting for a while.
And also, this is a 2014 Thanos.
Yeah.
This is not an aged Thanos that has had 4 more years to get ready.
Yeah.
This is a Thanos
who's very true.
I mean, granted, he's been doing this for a long time, but I don't know. I don't think he's as ready or as prepared for the Avengers at that moment. So yeah, they had a weaker Thanos.
Also, even if he was weaker, the only way, this is like fast forwarding a little bit, but the only way they could kill him was to snap him.
Right, because he even says it in the beginning of the movie. I'm inevitable. I'm always going to show up.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be there, and it's part of the timeline. I'm always going to be at your front door, basically.
Yeah.
And that leads to... We're going to get into the Tony stuff, but that leads me to question, where do you go from here? Because the stones still exist. Do we tell another Stones story in Phase 4 or Phase 5? Or do they go completely away from the stones?
Okay, so I can...
Because in the comics, they always go back to them at some point.
Yeah, they are always used. I will say this, though. Since the... See, this is Phase 4, maybe Phase 5. But I speculate what's going to happen is that the fact that in the beginning of the movie, they said it, Earth's become an epic center of, ground zero for cosmic energy that has never been seen before.
Mm-hmm.
That was because of the use of the stones.
The stones, right.
Yeah.
And now that Disney owns all the Fox titles,
right,
they can put someone who goes after cosmic energy.
Right.
And, Peter and I know who the fuck that is, but, as a big bad guy later on.
Well, I think he's going to show up at some point. I don't think it's Phase 4, only because...
That's what I said,
as
Phase
we've
5.
said, as we said before, that maybe... But again, maybe they go on a little hiatus and it is Phase 4. So who knows?
Right.
Maybe we do see Galactus and other individuals like that. So... I'm going to cry now, I think. Because this... Oh, man. You want to take this? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. So after all that fight, Doc Strange, Iron Man and Doc Strange have this thing where it's like, okay, you saw 14 million whatever outcomes. Is this the one? And Doc Strange just says, yes, this is the one. You have to do it. And he basically, Tony spears him, Roman Reigns spears him, and then Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, was about to snap, and he jacks the stones away from him, and then he snaps them out of existence, kills everybody on the Atari side, and Thanos himself. But the we've been going back and back and back about how the Infinity Gauntlet takes a lot out of somebody who uses it. Hulk being one of the strongest Avengers, arm completely dissipated. Thanos even had like his hands
Scarring, yeah.
his scarring everywhere. So for a frail human being of proportions, taking that drawback isn't gonna live.
Yeah.
Especially a man with a weak heart.
Weak heart, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's interesting because Strange said, "If I tell you, the opposite's going to occur. I can't." And Mike and I were talking about how that might be because it's going to lead you in this form of self. Mike? What were you saying?
Martyrdom.
Well, he's going to lose focus.
Right,
But now that
yeah.
I think about it, it was practically Doctor Strange telling Iron Man he was going to die if he would have said it, because that was the outcome.
Oh, I see what you're saying there. So if
Why would he tell him he's going to? Because he would have stopped fighting if he's, or at
Right.
least it would have screwed things up.
Right.
Oh yeah, because remember at the beginning he's like, "Bring back what we lost. Definitely keep what I have. I have to."
Right, and he knows that he was the first one to say that I don't want to die. Like you said, I want to keep what I have. Losing Iron Man is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I mean, clearly, he started all this. He
started it with "I am Iron Man" and he ended it with "I am Iron Man."
which is fucking, man.
Again, another fucking moment ruined by
the guy,
Joe Schmo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we all knew that's what he was gonna say, but he said it like 20 minutes earlier. It was very, very jarring. I'm sorry.
God.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So, Tony, I thought we were gonna lose him maybe the last movie.
Same.
I wouldn't have been surprised if we lost him any earlier than I don't know, but everybody's thoughts were, oh well, Disney and Marvel are gonna have him be an AI and he's gonna live on from there. They make it very clear. No, this is it. This is it. You ain't gonna see him anymore, and I think whether that's the right decision or not, it just leaves you empty, but fulfilled at the same time. Empty because he's gone now.
Yeah.
But fulfilled going that, well, what better way to go than that?
Yeah.
This is a man that has been selfish beyond belief throughout his life as a character. Not unlike the actual man. Prior to being Iron Man, everybody was like, first of all, I think in real life they found him naked in the streets once. Big drug addict.
He's grown since the Iron Man role, but
beyond.
Robert Downey Jr. wasn't the best and first choice I believe Marvel had.
Or for Iron Man.
Yeah, because during that time he had some real like
he was a
drinking problems, drug problems with money.
He was a big star in the 80s and I think the early 90s, and then it went to his head. And then it wasn't until Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in 2005 that he got a role that was like, oh my god, this guy's back. He knows what to do. And so I guess like in 06, 07, they were like, we're going to hire him. I guess, he must have passed auditions or whatever. But my point is to see this character grow to being a child, from being a child, like you said before, to being this mentor, to essentially being Spider-Man's dad in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
father figure.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then having his own kid, all this stuff. And all the stuff he's done, he's not selfish anymore, and he realized that I need to do this. That hit me so fucking hard, man. Because like I realized all of that while I was watching that. Because I knew once he picked up that gauntlet, I was like, this is it. There's no way. Because about what you just said, that someone you can't, you know, you're gonna get really, really injured. And I knew what the weak situation his body has been in for the last 15 years. With that time jump, it's 15 years basically. You knew there was no coming back, and so I just relived every moment, and I was just going through his whole character until, and then Pepper finally said, and that's where it hit me too, when Pepper said, "Now you could rest." And I was like, "Fuck, man, oh shit." And then the funeral. Did you pick up that? Did you pick up that boy that was there?
Yeah. I'm still confused about it.
Do you know who that is? You don't know? Who that is?
Oh, it's the boy from the fucking third movie, isn't it?
Yep, kid from the garage.
Oh, that's
He was there?
who it is.
Yeah, that was the.
That's who it is.
He was the last person they showed before they showed Captain Marvel and then Nick Fury.
Fury.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was that. Everybody in the theater was like, "Who's that? Who's that?" Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah, no, I was also like that for a sec. Now that makes fucking sense. Wow.
Played by the same kid too, which is awesome. Yeah, final, like, that moment, man, that was hard for me. I was literally sitting in my seat. My hands were crisscrossed across my chest, and I'm just rocking, kind of in there, going, "All right,
Yeah.
this is it. It's all led
I
to
think
this."
I do think that was a great way for Tony to go. I still feel like they should have killed off Cap when he was fighting Thanos a little bit, or like injured him a lot. But I do think what they did for Tony really
It was a good way for him to go out, I think.
Yeah,
It was the right way to do it.
Also,
that's a great way to clear cap space.
God, that is such not a cool joke, man.
I'm just saying.
Oh, just in time for the NFL draft. Wow. Wow. You know what? I never want to talk to you.
I'm just saying. Like, I love the scene, and I do feel like I did feel like,
first of all,
emotionally.
Pause. You know how genius that joke is? There's a pun in there. There's actual monetary value talking.
I know.
That's a genius joke.
That's a great joke, right?
Because now, yeah, you're right. Because now they can make movies now that cost like $80 million instead of having to do $500 million budgets. Because all these guys are gone. You're a dick. You're a real dick. I'm trying to be. I'm laying my heart out here, man. I'm in pain. I'm suffering, and you just come out of nowhere and just lay a stupid little joke, huh? Jesus Christ.
Hey, man. The best medicine is laughter, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess.
And alcohol, but
as Robert Downey Jr. knows.
Oh, jeez.
I love you. The next thing that happens, I think it's right after this, right? Or no?
Yeah. Yes.
Is your moment, I guess.
Yeah. You go.
Did you okay? When this happens, so to set the scene, they're ready to kind of fill all the plot holes because a lot of people are going to leave this movie going, "Well, it left these holes, so let's return the stones, let's return the hammer, Nomir, and let's figure some things out." And so they're about to send Cap back into the past. Hulk, I should have saw this coming when Hulk said this, because one of them asked, Falcon or Bucky asked, how long is it going to take? And he says, for as long as he needs or wants or whatever. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's going to be like 5 seconds. And for me, I should have realized, oh, he's going to stay there for a really long time. But I took it as, oh, he's going to go on some cool missions. And there's going to be a movie about this or something ridiculous. But no, the first thing happens, and he stays. And he lives the life he's always wanted to live. He lives the life would I mean, he never confirms it, but we all know it's with Carter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end it shows it. He had his.
But I'm saying like he never says it. He just says, "I'd rather not say it."
Okay.
Yeah, he never actually said. But yeah, we see it.
He never goes into detail when asked.
Yeah, he gets what he wants, and I think it was it you, Antonio, that said that people were upset?
Yeah.
I don't get those
A
people.
friend of mine was talking to me before, and he was saying that a lot of people online were very, very upset about, Cap going back in the past and living out his life with Peggy because it kind of like destroys his character a little bit. It's like his whole character arc from, after him getting unfrozen from ice up until now is that he must move on. He's been telling people to move on. He needs to keep, he needs to get his stuff together and like, this is the life he's living now. But as you and I discussed, the very beginning of this movie, when he's talking to Black Widow, he was like, I've been telling people to move on, but you and I, we can't.
Yeah, he more or less realizes that maybe that wasn't his best decision. Maybe I shouldn't have given up, and not have I should not have let go. And now he's given the perfect opportunity to relive those moments, and he seizes the moment, and he goes after basically his one true love, his only love, and a woman that has meant, like we said it before, has meant everything to him and has more or less made him the man that he is now by just living by her values in a sense. But for the people that say it ruins his character, yeah, it does if you only saw maybe one movie. But if you saw all the movies and seen how he's grown and where, if you even seen this movie, you could understand people change, people grow, Iron Man's gone through it, Thor's gone. Every single character in this film is not the same person they were when they were introduced into this franchise. Not a single person. Thor has realized, and we're going to get to that in a second, Thor has realized that I don't need to be a king. I don't need to be the leader of a group of people. I can't do that. That's not what I am. He realizes that. He hands off to Valkyrie, and they move from there. Hulk finally realizes, I don't have to be an angry guy all the time. We get a glimpse of that, of course, in the New York scene when he pretends to smash things, which I think is one of the funniest moments in the movie. Yeah. And again, Iron Man, everybody realizes they've grown. It's been so many years since the events of the first Avengers movie. So many years since Ultron. It's been 5 since Infinity War. People don't take that into account when they watch some movies sometimes. Like they're watching it just to watch it, and they're not realizing the stakes and the themes and all. Like, they're not paying attention. Those are people that need to not have Twitter accounts. I'm sorry. They shouldn't. But anyway, Captain Marvel. Captain America. I did not expect to see him in that seat. I didn't know what Bucky was looking at.
Yeah.
Did you have any inclination that's what it would be?
No, not at all.
Are you satisfied with his ending? Because I know, I like to believe. I don't know. You've never really said who you're more of a Cap guy, an Iron Man guy, a Thor guy. Like, I don't really know.
I mean,
were you satisfied with his ending?
Yes and no, because I feel like obviously Iron Man got the definitive ending, while Captain America technically is still alive, and although he's old,
Yeah.
But it just makes me wonder, like, what. I mean, I guess it's like a happy send off, a sad send off to one character, and then you have a happy send off to the other character, because we know that. I guess logically, Captain America is going to probably pass away within
very soon.
The next, yeah, he's an old man. He aged while he was away, but I don't know. Part of me wants to see his alternative life, but it probably was uneventful, in terms of a comic book movie.
Right.
Yeah, I think I considered him. He passed away, like, right, like he died of natural
causes. Yeah,
obviously, right. Same thing with obviously with Tony passing away, right? Black Widow's gone. So unless they do something stupid and then they try to bring them back somehow, because it's not like because
classic
the movies
MCU.
right, because like because in comic books they could do that willy nilly, after a few months or a year or something. But in the movies, it needs to be more impactful,
I think the
So
only people you could kind of bring back would, which I guess they're teasing at, which we spoke about before, was Gamora and Black Widow. But yeah, if you bring back Tony after what you just did to me, I'm not going to be too happy.
No,
right,
they can't bring back Tony. That's it. Tony, Cap. You really can't bring.
That's
You
what I'm saying.
can't bring them back to their original states.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They made it very definitive. They drained you out by showing you him dying. They showed you the funeral. They dragged that out so that they were reminding you that this is over. Yeah, it's very possible that Cap does die by the next movie. Maybe even by Spider-Man, he's dead. I would like to see an official, maybe a news,
funeral.
maybe not even really necessarily a funeral, because think about this. Captain America, that Captain America was the Captain America from before that went into the past, but he then comes back as an old man. So my question is, which Captain, like, it's
It is confusing, yeah.
do they see him? So technically, no one on Earth was aware that Captain America got old, is what I'm saying. The only ones that know he got old are the Avengers that saw him come back old.
Yeah,
So
that's why.
there's likely going to be some military sort of, or some sort of big funeral for Captain America / Tony / Steve Rogers. But it would be for Captain America and not so much for Steve Rogers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be more like the Superman funeral that he received.
Yeah. Because it goes back to when they were in Jersey too. Tony was like, "You weren't really born here, right?" And he goes, "No, the idea of me was born here."
I like that. I forgot about that.
And I also like him, passing the torch to Sam, right?
I thought he was going to toss that to Bucky.
Oh, I did too
I
originally.
thought Sam was going to toss it, not Steve.
Oh yeah.
Because when he said this doesn't fit, I was like, "Oh shit, you going to toss it to Bucky?"
Yeah.
Are you disappointed by that? Like,
I personally, because I love when Bucky was Captain America in the comic books anyway, but in the movie verse, Bucky acknowledges that Sam is the rightful fit for it.
I see.
And I think Bucky still feels like he hasn't atoned for what he's done,
I also like it because the character of Falcon himself has not been he's not been utilized as much. And to see this character now it's very likely that we're going to have a movie about Falcon being Captain America. I love that because now, Anthony Mackie can now have his own franchise now, and I think that's really cool. He's a great actor, and I think it's well deserving for him now to get this. I look at it on a real world standpoint. I'm not looking on it from the character standpoint like you are. I'm seeing it in real world. I think Mackie's more deserving of it. And,
yes.
And also the character, we haven't seen much of Falcon as much. Now we get to.
Sure.
Now we get to see it. Now we get to see it. So, oh my god, where the fuck happens? What happens next? This movie.
That's it.
That's it. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is over. Closes shop. They go bankrupt after.
What's next? What is next?
My question to you guys is, after these two, these two significant send-offs, are you guys still invested in the MCU?
That's a solid question for not me, obviously, because I am. That's a solid question for the average person that has wasted their I'm not saying it's wasted.
Wasted their decade.
Right. That's what some people might see that as. No. But that's me, Mike.
It's hard to say. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I'm still invested, but like, we have no indication of where the story is going next. So it's kind of hard to get invested. Something that doesn't exist at all.
Here's what
As
I'll
of right now, anyway.
Here's what I'll say. What the fuck was an Iron Man in 2008? No one knows. No one knew what that character was unless you were a comic book fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Iron Man was a nothing character. What was Captain America? More people probably knew about Captain America than the average person, but same thing there. Hulk, everyone knows what Hulk is, and so on and so forth. You made a universe not with starting out with Spider-Man. You didn't make a universe starting out with your biggest character because you couldn't. So you had to play with what you had. You couldn't make a universe with the X-Men because that was already a thing. You didn't have that. And you got people to learn that these characters are also pretty amazing. You're going to be able to do it now even more so because now you have that group of people that are invested. My main question is not whether or not people are going to be invested or not, is whether or not who the fuck is going to be the spotlight now of the MCU.
Yeah.
Clearly, it was Cap
probably.
and Iron Man. Is
Yeah.
it Spider-Man next?
No,
Is it Doctor Strange? Is it like
I
who?
think
I don't
I
think
think it's Strange and Carol.
I
can see
agree
being
with
more
you.
Carol. Doctor Strange is just too weird
I
to be like a frontline. Just to be a title character. That's just my opinion. He's too. I don't know. He's too.
well, you were saying
doesn't-
that he's not relatable.
charismatic. He doesn't have the charisma of
Or
Cap.
T'Challa.
Could be T'Challa.
I'm going to disagree with you there because he has a nation he has to rule, or does he then take? Does he
Well, I mean,
step down from the
eventually.
throne and give it to his sister?
I mean, maybe, but eventually he does become the de facto leader of the Avengers. So,
Well, comic books aside,
yeah,
also what happens now with Pepper Potts? Does she realize, maybe I don't want to get involved? This was a one-time thing. I don't want to get
Yeah,
involved
yeah.
in this.
I don't think she should become a superhero.
no, I don't think so. I think what they're probably going to do is use his daughter
At some point.
eventually.
So
Yeah,
my thing
that's
is, it's very clear that Thor is likely going to be with the Guardians.
Yeah, as Guardians of the Galaxy, yes.
It is very, I think, clear to me that this is the end of the Hulk story for now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they've realized that they're not going to make a Hulk movie because they can't really, because they want to make their money off of it, and they can't because Paramount or Universal, whatever. So they've realized they're at a standstill there. So they're like, fuck it, let's just do what we have to do. And again, Thor, like I said about Thor, what about Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone, Ant-Man
Widow's gone.
is still around.
True, but I don't see Scott being a leader.
Oh, no,
He's
I'm
too
not-
comedic.
I'm
He's
not-
too
I'm
comedic.
not-
He's a comedic
I'm not
relief.
talking about leaders. I'm talking about who's left.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Ant-Man's left. You got, who we got? Scarlet Witch.
No. Oh, Scarlet.
Not
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. Captain Marvel's a slight asterisk because I say that only because she seems more concerned about the galaxies and the universe.
She's not too concerned about Earth.
She's more galactic. Yeah, she doesn't. So you got Stephen Strange. What else we got left? We got Black Panther.
Ant-Man and the
Yes, I
Wasp.
said that. Oh yeah, Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You got
Spider-Man.
Falcon / Captain America.
Sam Wilson, Captain America / Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
You have Stephen Strange, Carol.
said that. Yeah.
Did you guys mention Thor?
Well, no, I
Thor.
just said that he's basically done. He's gonna be hanging out with the Guardians.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay
He's
attention,
gonna-
Michael.
Wait, what?
I was like, pay attention, Mike.
I'm falling
Yeah.
asleep.
Nice
Wow.
Guardian of the Galaxy. Yeah.
So anyway,
that's
I'm sure there's
about
more. I
it.
can't really think about it. Well, you got Valkyrie.
Yeah, but New Asgard. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, she's on Earth, so anytime they call her, she'll be there. I'm sure there's others, but
So like, you got a decent amount of people left.
so my
You got a lot
point.
of you got a lot of superheroes
Well,
left.
and
to
then you
still
got
work with.
Ant-Man's daughter. So you got Stature. Oh, Spider-Man. Oh my God, I forgot about Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Yeah, I said Spider-Man.
Oh,
You said Spider-Man, right?
well, I didn't write them down yet. So I'm writing a list down. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 potential Avengers. Probably more. I can't think off the top of my head right now. That's a pretty good amount of people. The question is, one, who becomes the de facto leader? Two, we all know that they're working on a Doctor Strange 2. They're working on a Black Panther 2. They're working on they're working on Guardians 3, but that's not Avengers related. My point to this is I think whenever we see these movies, we will get more answers to the connections in regards to the bigger threat that's going to be out there, because where the fuck do you go from this? Like you said, you got the Fox stuff now. You could go bigger and badder.
Yeah. You could
I think
throw in a little Silver Surfer.
I still, well, he would be great to introduce in Guardians because he is a Guardian of the Galaxy. So why not there? You know, that would be awesome. Maybe he's out there somewhere and he's been doing some things. My big question here is like, when do we get the next movie besides Spider-Man? And I think it's after. I think you have to wait till 23. I really think you do, because you've set that tone.
So you're thinking there's going to be you're banking on this movie hiatus till
Mhm.
2023.
I also agree with Pete. Not so much that I personally agree that there should be a movie hiatus.
I don't think there should
but
be, but I think there is.
I do think they're probably going to do one because the saturation of superhero movies in the market today.
That is true.
And
They
a
really
lot
should
of
take a
people,
break. They really should take a break with these movies.
yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of casual fans, as we've seen, I've heard personally saying, "Oh, there's so many superhero movies. I'm getting burnt out." Same thing what we said about Star Wars. So it's like, I think people need a break, and I think people need a little space where they could just breathe a little bit, and then
I'll never
and then they'll
understand that.
Right. I personally, I want to see more. Right.
It's not. No, it's not even that. You're talking to somebody who goes to the movie theater like 40 times, 50 times a year. So, like, all right, one movie's a superhero movie, another movie's good. But these are people that are talking that only see like 3 movies a year.
And they all happen to be superhero movies.
And that's their fault, not my fault. So,
that's true. But again, it's like,
no, I know they're the ones with the money. So
you're one out of what?
a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
No, I don't necessarily agree with the saturation, but that's just me because I'll see anything. But I guess. But what also leads me to believe that there's going to be a bit of a hiatus
Disney Plus
is the Disney Plus, but also now that Disney has Fox stuff and they've basically they said they're going to continue with R-rated Deadpool under the Fox banner. You're going to have Deadpool movies that you could kind of fill in all this stuff, which is not MCU related. So
Sure.
You'll still get your comic book movie, but it's not going to fit into any of this stuff. Also, now that there's not going to be any more X-Men movies, there's one less set of comic book movies out there. Where does DC do with their stuff? So there's not going to be so much saturation in the market. I think it's going to be pretty empty for a while. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And also, they did confirm with James Gunn that Suicide Squad 2 is going to be made first for DC, then he's going to do Guardians. So, that also leads me to believe that the next movie is not until 20 maybe 22, but that time. Which is a long time from now. It's a few years. And for someone like me to not see a movie like that, it's kind of like, oh, really?
I mean, or they could just, release something entirely different, like a new character that they could just throw in there, and have a new origin story for them and whatever to fill in the blanks, right?
Well, there's always been talk of having, oh my God, there's always been talk of having, oh, what's his name? Oh, Shang-Chi. That's his name.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
uh,
he's confirmed.
right.
Yeah, he's
So,
confirmed.
so,
Oh,
like,
I can't wait for that. That one's gonna be great.
oh, that's gonna be so racy though. People are gonna get so upset. You know that.
Yeah, what also sucks is that Iron Fist is not involved at all.
Or is he now?
Oh,
Or is he now? Because think about it. Cancel the show. The show's not around anymore. Now you get to reintroduce him. Kind of like retconning one of the worst things they've ever done. You know, so. Who knows?
arguably, quote unquote.
Well, I've never
Arguably.
seen it, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be really cool. And also, for a diversifying thing, you know, you get your first real Asian superhero on the big screen. So that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
For those that care about that. So that'd be really awesome. But the question is, when do we get any of that stuff? It's like, Comic-Con, I'm sure we're going to get some news. I'm sure.
Hopefully
Yeah, we're just
so.
gonna have to wait.
So
We're gonna have to wait.
I have a question for the both of you. Is Endgame, I know we've only seen it once, except for Antonio, you've seen it twice. Is Endgame the greatest comic book movie ever made?
I think Infinity War was better. That's-
Really?
Yeah, I think Infinity War is better than Endgame, but not to shit on Endgame at all. I
No,
think
no,
Endgame
no,
was
no, of course.
fantastic, but I think Infinity War, what it did, is a lot more impactful than what Endgame.
What do you mean by
Finished.
that? What it did? What does that mean?
The whole,
to
like-
the culture, or
Well, just pretty much, and Infinity War being the culmination, pretty much the start, the first part, the start of the culmination of the 10 movies, all the stones in place, all the characters together, you know, them actually losing the snap. So the ending being so, you know, unexpected, the impact of that, I think just that was new ground broken by a superhero movie compared to what Endgame just finished. So pretty much I think just the start of it was better, just kind of how the first act just established so much new ground,
Right.
so to speak. I just think that the stakes were higher in Infinity. I mean, the stakes were both high, incredibly high in both movies, but Infinity War, the stakes were higher because of they lost, more or less. This entire movie,
right?
you think they're going to win, and then they lose. So it's kind of like, oh shit, like I've never done that before, you know?
Right. I see what you're saying. Interesting. I don't know if I agree yet. Again, I've been granted I've seen Infinity War 10 times as compared to once with Endgame. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm a bit torn right now because I guess because I just saw it, that I'm just I want to think it's better than it. But is it the greatest comic book movie ever? Time will tell.
Yeah, time.
You need more time.
But
You need more time.
at this moment, holy crap! It's deserving of being up there for sure.
Yeah.
And at the moment right now, I do like it more than Infinity War. But oh man, Antonio, what is your take on like
It's a phenomenal movie. I will admit that. Is it arguably the best movie for superheroes ever? I don't know. I still think the first Avengers did more for the culture than this.
How about movie alone, not culture? Movie alone, though.
Oh, movie alone?
Yeah. Because sure, you could say easily that Avengers did Infinity War did that, or that Avengers did that, or even Dark Knight did that. You know, whatever. But the movie alone, do you think it's a deserving candidate of being the best?
It's too early to tell.
Yeah. I
To
think
be
so
honest,
too.
I can't tell you yes or no in good faith without like fully really thinking about it.
Right. Well,
You know,
this is also me, like my top 5 has I don't know off the top of my head the numbers in order. Mine has Avengers. It has Logan. It has Winter Soldier in there somewhere. You know, like it has some pretty solid movies up there. Does Endgame belong at number one. Like I said, time will tell. I'm sure by next year I'll make, or a few weeks actually, I'll make my decision. But yeah, it's way too early to tell.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
But on what Mike, what you said, I think is really interesting. That Infinity War had more. I guess you're saying it had more stakes.
Yeah.
And it's the first time they did really the villain one. I'm interested to think because I gotta watch it again because when I watched Infinity War, to me it was very clear it was Thanos' movie. It was a movie based off of the antagonist, and we got to see it end with him. I don't know whose movie this is, Endgame. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't have a clear person as to who this movie's following. And
Doesn't really follow one character. That's the thing.
right, but you could also say that about Infinity War, but it does, and it does follow.
Thanos still is the center point. At least
Yeah.
you have one villain to follow.
But this one, I wonder if that's gonna hurt, like affect people's viewing on it, like, because people are fucking stupid, and they're like, well, it didn't focus on one thing, and so, -5, because they're assholes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The way people rate things are just ridiculous sometimes. I'm curious if that will affect people's take on it. That it's not your typical good versus evil. I mean, I guess it is, but it's not your typical protagonist type of storyline. If I'm explaining that right, I don't know, but there's not one moment. I mean, I guess you could say it's Tony's, but it's really not. You could say it's Cap, but it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
It's also not Thanos' story either in this movie.
Oh, Thanos, right?
Thanos, I did it. Oh, his anus, right?
But yeah,
I wonder how many people are upset that actually didn't happen.
but a few memers.
Yeah, I bet there's a few people that are like, "What? They lied. They said it was gonna happen."
I never said that.
No, I know, but there's people out there. I don't know, man. I would like to end this because it's 2.5 hours.
Yes.
I just realized that.
Got got a half hour more to go.
Oh, right. Let's do it. No. I don't know. I think my rating for this movie right now. It's like it's either a 10 or it's not. I don't know. It's fucking awesome. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I don't understand. I love you, John Campia, but I don't understand what you meant by the first 2 hours being all over the place. I think the whole movie does a really good job of making you understand all the different plot points in a very smart and cohesive way. The last hour did not feel like an hour. It literally felt like 10 minutes, which freaked me out because the last hour starts in that battle, and it does not feel like 10. It felt like 10 minutes. So kudos to, I guess, the Russos for making us feel that, making us want more. Also didn't feel like a 3-hour movie, so good job on them for that, I guess. But yeah, this movie's epic. It's in the 9s. It's a 10. I don't know. I don't really know what to rate it, but it's fucking awesome. What about you guys?
21.
I honestly, I can't. I don't know what to rate it. Like seeing it twice, still, I don't know, man. It's good. Just watch it.
It's good.
Yeah, that's my de facto saying. It's good.
I love
can't.
it. I can't wait to see the trailer, the new TV spots, and it says it's good. Quote Antonio from Facts Not Included.
Go see it.
That's all he said. It's good.
Hey man, I can't come up with witty lines like my man's Adam Kovic. All right, so I'm sorry. But Mike, yeah, what do you think?
I had to rate it because I think I remember last time I rated. I don't know, Infinity War. I think I gave it a 9. If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I love this movie, but it's gonna sound low. But I gave this movie like an 8.5, pretty much. I'd say. Like just compare, like I said, I liked Infinity War more just based on the stakes, but I still think it was a fantastic movie. So I think 85 is what I would give it. I think it was great. It did everything that I thought it was gonna do, but I just, like I said, just in terms of like building the universe, I feel like Infinity War just achieved more.
You know what's really funny about
Okay.
what you just said? I basically rated it almost a 10, basically. Antonio did 9.5? Or kind of, you did 8.85. What is so funny is that I love it when people see ratings, and if it's anything lower than their score, it's like, what, did you hate the movie? What's wrong with you? And it's like, no, jackass, an 85 is superb.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. So yeah.
Even
I
a
loved it, yeah.
75 is pretty awesome. Even a 65, pretty good. Like, so like, I hate people. Like, you're gonna see that. You see that on Twitter a lot. People are like, "What? How dare you? That's not cool." You know? I don't know. Just wanted to throw that in there because I just hate people like that. But anyway, this has been our little review. Little.
Little. Not even close.
God. Probably our longest review ever. I don't know. Anyway, this has been Facts Not Included. Hope you guys, if you're still listening, God knows I wouldn't be.
Wow.
Come on. It's either listen to this or watch the movie. No.
This rate, pretty much.
So please make sure you visit factsnotincluded.com because that's a thing. That's an actual thing now. We've teased it for like 80 years. But now it's been unfrozen. And it is literally unfrozen. And it's out there. So check it out. Really cool stuff. But anyway, I've been Peter. And I want you guys to have a good day. Peace
This
out.
is with Michael. Have peace out. Have a good night.
Or whenever you're listening, really.
Or good
to be
day, or
honest.
good morning, or good
Yeah.
afternoon, depending.
Yeah. And
Good on you.
that was almost as bad as Mike's previous exits.
We always gotta have one bad exit.
The internet fell asleep.